Christopher Robin. Whenever he would be eating food on the couch, I'd shoot salt at his food.
That's awesome.
That's great. I just sneak up around the corner.
You didn't need to aim with that thing either.
Oh, yeah, it works out great.
It's a shotgun.
Dude, are you sure I can have the salt gun?
You're gonna get flies from here in the summer, and that's not okay with me.
I'm sure I love that. Like,
Devin!
It was inventorial.
So what else do you do today?
Salt, that's really it. Just like have fishing and
Yeah, he just shot himself. Yeah, as in the food product salt. Sea salt. You're not salt then. Yeah, salt.
Hey, what do you call an angry white person?
Salt and cracker.
Salt soup.
It would be nice to sneak under and take it else. Right in the middle of a rain condition.
Hey Alex, can I buy something?
Yes.
I have a lot of change. I'm sorry.
Great. Great.
Hey, I figured out. You can save me, you know. It's not Mario.
Yeah, but it should be like Mario.
It's not Mario.
It's not, but it should be.
You have finger guns. Pew pew. You'll be dead now. Pew pew. I can hit too. It's not like Mario. Maybe it's like Mario. Huh, you're right.
I know.
Doesn't matter. No, you could have saved me.
And you want to fix it on the table or bring it back over? Or fix it over here?
Yes. Yeah.
Here's your.
Oh.
Nice thing about Battlestar Galactica. So when Mike is done, he's going to want to jump in.
Yep.
And I'm going to want to jump in.
Yeah, Pen's coming to it.
What?
Huh?
Pen's coming to
Okay.
it.
Do we still have 2 spaces open?
I think so, yeah.
Dude, Jeremiah, you should jump in.
Okay.
Alright, Jeremiah's going to jump in.
What?
Zoe's going to jump in
How's
too.
the first one?
Battlestar Galactica. Oh, she
Save
can't.
me, brother. Can I have some?
Oh, yeah, that's not going to be enough time.
That's the last one down there.
It's one of the best board games ever. Very popular.
I can ship you like
Have you
one
ever
of the
played it
things
outside?
outside of the house. Walk.
Have you played this one?
No, I'm just saying from you, and I trust you. You're a filthy liar from
It's kind of
Lydesville.
you giving me
Are you a filthy liar from Lydesville?
Haha!
I think you were.
Alex,
I hope
can
you're
fit in the microphone?
No, I will.
Right here.
Great.
Take your off.
No problem, thank you.
Oh, what's this?
No.
Do you need more comments? So,
I haven't
it's like,
anything else
hey,
yet.
Devin, when you get a second, would you mind that I have some food on your table? Oh, yeah.
Kind of fun.
Buddy, you're off.
Ow.
So,
Here.
is it a co-op?
Yeah, it's up to you.
It's co-op with oh, Jesus Christ.
That's how most of these co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually do 2 for 1 just so that we can stack this.
What's your favorite board game?
My favorite board game which flavor did you get?
Hey,
I
we're
got
gonna
Sherry.
talk about consistently.
Dude, I tried. Yes, Terry, I have to check for you.
So,
Zach, don't leave me hanging.
yeah, because I
Zach, Jim, leave me hanging.
Hey, Zach, high five, my dude. We're not all equal.
Yes, I am.
Well, remember in PE, girls were like, you're not a girl, like, excuse me, you just assume, like, gender. Remember? Wait, Zach, remember they do move in her.
Yeah.
James, we were in PE, Devin, or me and Devin were in PE, and there was all these freshmen running at the same time.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure something
And
else out.
Devin was like, they do move in her.
Oh, have you seen the show? Okay.
Jeremiah.
That's awesome.
So me and my friend, me and Devin had PE together in class. So there was all these freshmen who were all running, and my friend and Devin was like, they do move in her.
Cool.
You're not a girl.
My gender?
You too.
You're not a girl. Oh, wow. So you're a girl. You're my species.
He's the auto shoot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What is it? Like, what's it like?
It's drinking game without the alcohol.
Ah. Oh, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I will give you that later if I get on.
Give me a piece of chicken right now. I don't have
Do
Please.
Give me these in like 2 minutes.
The place.
And then there's possibly a gift I got with
Zach, how do you get out
Go
Okay.
back to my apartment. There's some kind of food kitchen items.
That
Got some stuff. Got some stuff in the fridge. And whatnot. There.
Ah,
Yeah, that'd be
interesting.
cool. And then are you guys gonna do a run back out there?
Yeah.
If you
Oh,
could,
okay,
after
okay.
you run out, if you guys, you know,
Sorry.
next is.
That's what I'm checking.
Would it be
Oh!
go back out to the house?
I got the whole today. So
That would be so cool because
do
after
at
you.
least three more trips to your place.
Okay, cool. If you could do one more trip back here before that would super sweet. And I know that would make Maxine great. And Maxine should be. Maxine is the embodiment of.
If you look it up in the dictionary.
That's right. It's not so. There's a little gift.
That's where I've seen you before. It's like you're and I'm there's a little bit more of a like a P at the end of it. Like, eep.
Well, land of window.
We'll get Alexis thing.
That's why we get along so well. It makes so much more sense now.
Good. Is the music
Yes, I
okay?
shall return.
Okay.
I knew that was gonna
How you doing, Mary?
I'm surprised I'm good at this game.
How's the internet?
You'd be surprised how good I am at this game.
Glad to hear that. Well, if you need anything, just let me know. Glad you're here.
You can just put those.
I'm actually glad.
Jack, the chicken is better. Why didn't you let him get the coin? Garbage! Pregnant!
I haven't done all those.
But
You go back for him, but you don't go back for me?
Joey,
That's messed up.
you
You're a
think-
better friend than me there.
Ouch!
what's the address?
It's not a lie.
No, pull it up on your phone.
Hey, Alex, look at my thing. Zach, you stay over here with us. I am.
I save you with every single game.
I see you.
Let's go on the part where we play those.
What? Because that's the only part to see you.
This one on the biker one, which is
Ow.
like this, and then the
Oh right, he changed the freaking controls.
sort them out.
That's why I can't dash.
Yeah, Dash.
Literally dashes.
Out.
That's not the one I ever tried to revive.
It takes. Yeah, man.
It takes a little
Why?
time to get back.
Oh, no, we just.
Was there an invisible bug?
I think so.
So we can.
The bug was bugged.
Yeah, we can just put those on the side for now. We're not bad guys.
The bug was bugged. Out.
Should record that.
One of the bugs was invisible. Ow.
I couldn't be there.
Devin.
But no.
Devin.
What?
When the game maker forgets to draw an enemy.
What is programmed in? The bug was bugged. It was invisible, Zach. Invisible. You'll use your
The land of wind and ghosts.
That's a launcher.
Imagine
This?
if you target the butterfly
Now
with
this is
butterfly.
reverse Flash. This is like Flash with the bad guy.
Figures.
Have you noticed Mike has a Flash shirt on today? Because we're twins.
I just. Zach, I just think you're
Nemesis.
Every
Why
time
didn't
I
you
call
do
it
that?
golden empire.
That's how you do it. Yes.
Alright, you're right.
Eric Olson. Just having him in our house raises our property.
And I was
3,000%.
like, I better see you more game nights from now on.
He has a lot going on, so I don't know if that will happen. But because it's just for a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
Because he might be moving back up north to Alaska.
Oh.
Practice was good. Chicken?
Yeah, he had an investment that
I'm going to just eat
the guy might
teriyaki
be
sauce.
going to prison for. So he's going after the guy, and so he's just going into safe mode. So he's going up to Alaska just so that he can cut his costs and other things like that.
Wow.
Which is really, really smart. This is backup. He's super.
That's not
What is Balthazar? What is his name?
Gaius Balta.
Baltar. Oh yes, that's why I think Balthazar.
If I
That's
die
fine.
and I can't be
Bald.
respond,
Gaius Baltar. All right, let's get started.
Well, we go 10.
Nope.
no, don't even
Nope.
Sarah,
Let's go.
It doesn't work when you press
I
start.
don't
I tried it.
No,
Oh, we're not. We're just cutting it out.
It doesn't work.
as long as he has one
Can you
health.
tell me how long Mike has been playing on that game?
He's about halfway through.
I'm sorry, what?
It's like 10 minutes.
That's because he has one health. You had one health.
Well, yeah, he's about.
Wait, you took
You
my
guys
house?
can read anything there.
No, it's not.
You know how it feels when he robs you from me.
You never asked.
I haven't lived with Mike
He's disrespected all of us.
for like 2 or 3 or 5
I took your health and come back.
On his level at platinum and stuff like that, I can see where he's at. And map, it's in the bottom corner. There's a lot of other activity going on. He's about to figure it out. I don't think they're gonna.
Ow.
They might. Huh?
Make me do it again.
Well,
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it again.
we'll find out. If he's on there for another 30 minutes,
It'll be good.
you're right. If he's on there for another 10 minutes, I'm right.
So you don't disrespect him?
Hopefully it's like.
And
Ow.
either way,
That
we'll
was a
fight.
waste. That was absolutely.
Fight to the death.
Devin,
Somewhere to Michael
James, I
Fassbender.
hear that going on over
Oh, yeah?
What?
Is this Michael Fassbender? It's like Michael Fassbender.
Dude, I got to hang out with Dan last night and Jordan. They were
I'm
so
definitely
good.
not taking
I got
over
to talk to
Nevada
them for like
currently.
45 minutes.
About it.
Why would you take over Nevada?
Because
Yeah.
I am the Golden Empire. I will take over
Damn,
the
Sir,
entire United
stop
States.
it.
I am
He's
California.
gonna try to take over everything.
Jordan is awesome too.
Oh.
It's like a questionable substance.
Oh wow. That
Why
actually
is this one so much faster? I don't understand.
That's only because I.
I shall murder
No,
him
he's
for the
scared.
good of the Republic.
Yeah. Everybody knows
That's
that.
the literal style of this game.
Yeah, look good. Exactly.
live.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Take his life.
Is one of the 3 letters?
Hey, that's fun.
A Zoe delivery service.
That's where it yeah.
He said he's taking you somewhere. He said a Zoe delivery service.
Dude, Nevada has
Hey,
no
why was
army.
it jump?
If your Zoe is not delivered to you hot and fresh in 30 minutes. That sounds skeezy when I say hot and fresh.
Yeah.
I was talking about pizza, then I realized, whoops, that sounds weird.
You look too. That's okay.
Hot and fresh. Your Zoe's not delivered in 30 minutes.
Hey, incoming. Incoming.
Please.
Incoming.
Hi.
Brother!
I actually can't.
Maxine, I feel like I derailed your train. Like more people would have been here if you hadn't been through me.
I wasn't sure if Gracie was trying to make her
Well, oh, okay. Oh, by the way, brought free food.
There are
Nice
super
to talk to
sweet
you.
and have cookies in here. Would you mind waiting for those?
Oh,
That would be awesome. You're amazing.
waiting as in
Not having them in
another place, another time.
It never does that.
Oh, okay.
Does that-
Disrespected all of us.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So,
Like, hey, I don't know what to do.
hello?
How
are you?
Yeah.
Glad you're back.
Did you want to go
Oh,
now?
I figured it out just a
And then-
long time. Never returned.
That would be terrible.
Is that okay with the people?
She has to leave by
So I picked out a
No, it's okay.
D&D.
Well, I will be back in 20 minutes.
Have you seen this?
So hopefully Michael will be done by the time. Let's just say.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, as long as
What's your friend?
No.
So that was my plan, was to run that at some point. I should print out some. But you said you have characters. Are you starting at level 1 or?
Yes, that's what we have.
How?
We put it
Shut up.
level 1
Yeah.
right now.
I guess I never.
How?
It suggested
Why does
Getting
everybody
a-
hate me?
wish list of
Because
magic
everyone
items from you.
disrespects.
Do you have a Dungeon Master's Guide or?
I don't have a dungeon
What if
master
I
guide,
sworn
but
it?
I have
Everyone's a Claymore and everyone in the
Smart
United
copies of
States.
the
I'm fighting
Player's
Mexico. I used to go to
Handbook
Nevada.
Xanathar
Texas
guides
is fighting Washington.
Exactly.
What is it?
Zach, take this.
It's
What
pretty
have I
easy to find these
started
online.
back?
I meant to print these
I'm-
out, but
Wait, I need to set up factories.
yeah. So what they have,
I've looked at some.
magic item table, and so a lot of times it'll say like roll for an item from table C.
Oh, you're not right.
So table F is kind of the good stuff where that starts.
How long is this taking?
So they suggest you like pick 3 out of each table, and then I can prefer those when I'm finding them.
Gotcha.
So
in
in
terms
terms
of
of
space,
would
it make more sense
for us to play side by side here, or to kind of angle it
desirable.
I think it's better.
Yeah, because it kind of sucks to get, you know, like trying to fish command. And that's what's
Alex.
Yes, yes.
Did I get on that N64?
right.
And I probably.
by the way,
It's on the side here.
You did. It's right on the end there.
Bandor.
And if you notice, we got some stiffer chairs in here too.
Right. This is all right. But one of the nice things about these, so they come out with one adventure every year. Right. And then they also come out with a bunch of like small adventures for.
Alex, can I buy some things? Can I buy some things?
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
So that was the first thing about this.
Oh, yeah, I haven't.
So this says
You just put this.
it gets you from level 1 to 11.
True. The game that I played once at a
some
game
of
con
it's-
and really liked. Well, my captain is dead.
So
Starts
one of the
with
nice
the,
things is so that's they come out with one
main
big
engine
module every year. They have
and
what's called the
it's
Adventure
just need to prepare.
where
The
they
aliens like
they put out a bunch of. So this, for instance, is what I usually play to begin with. 2 hours into.
Yeah,
And so they have different special came out with like 20 different adventures during that year, and they all could be anywhere in the big. So this says like you're hired to bring something from one place to another, and it's like, well, I'm going to start with that.
Because I had it on my 3DS.
So we're waiting till Jeremiah gets back?
Right, and then
She said she was going
like there's a part where people say like, oh, in this module,
Mike,
No, I mean, like, how do you explain that? How do you explain
like you're allowed
that?
to go
How
to
do you
these
explain
places,
these
but you don't, and it's like, well, we can use one of these folks or something to. Yeah. Because it's kind of weird. It doesn't say like
Well, everything's changing.
these are the things you fight. They give you this much experience and then you gain levels. So it says like at this step of the adventure you should be level 5.
I
And
figured
so
out
you
wrong.
kind of just assume to be promoted, like, oh, it's time for you to go to this place, you better be level 5, so you're level 5, and then...
But maybe like almost trying to extend a little bit of the, like those things that you get to them.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny, I remember when I played a lot, in these, like, years ago, you get gold and you get experience from adventures, and you kind of, like, the people who took it too seriously, like, they wanted to fail the quests, but, so, each one of these says you can get from 0 to 500 gold pieces, and from 0 to 500 experience, or something like that, and the strongest character you could have got all the gold and none of the experience. Because it would take you forever to get to the next level, but you'd be so wealthy. Does that make sense? So it's kind of a weird thing. I'll have to look in the Dungeon Master's Guide because usually it says like you can build a level 6 character using the rules, and it says you should have like this many magic items. So I think that's the tricky part. Is I can easily just say, okay, you're level 5 now, but will you be underpowered for level 5?
Oh, this is gonna be weird.
I like it, yeah.
That's a new character.
And I like the goblins and stuff too. It's not like,
The last campaign I played, it was fun. It was a few sections while I was working for the Park Service. The first encounter was we were thinking in. What else is there?
it's hard to break out of that because it just works so well.
Yeah. And I like in the middle of the night there was a next 4 goblins, and my guy, which was a half-elf paladin, which is kind of the character I'm working on now, but I've remade and started him at 1 fresh kind of thing.
Oh, I don't think so. There's a human paladin. Yeah, I haven't played enough of these to know what's actually built well. Because like there was a thing in 4th edition where strength, constitution, the higher of those 2 was your fortitude save, and then intelligence or dexterity was the reflex.
I've never seen
this wisdom.
Tell me about the TV show, though.
And so that kind of made it easier to figure out what your jump stat was going to be, because you said like, oh, I don't want to have a high dex and a high intelligence because that's a waste of whatever. So
Oh,
So they create these machines.
so like they had the wizard that you could have the type that uses a wand, and it's like, well, but they want to have high dexterity, so it's kind of a waste.
So would you want us to
Wow.
So now it's basically
Right.
the goal of the game is to get to
roll our stats like in the first
No, so don't roll. So do the standard array.
I was
So they're not trying to retake your
buying one.
Yeah, and that's what I've
Well,
done
they-
for a long
yeah,
time.
they
I
completely
like that.
like,
I
they moved to
I always feel lousy
So that really
if I get back.
and so, like, she is the president in the show, and
Because
then
we roll, we
he's the admiral.
roll.
And so they're kind of like the two leaders, and actually those people have some big roles as well. So like,
Yeah. Like on the one hand, I can be convinced to do that, but it's like,
guys,
Really
like,
bad or almost too good.
yeah, like if it's bad, then you feel bad about it, and if it's good, then
Sexy dresses.
yeah, well,
Like,
I actually in the show
just-
there's a character that's
like
like,
you can
I don't necessarily recommend
give
it,
more points if you
but
want. But one of the things that I like
like
to
basically like
encourage
so many people
players
were killed
is,
that she was actually the successor and because of like
make a
20
make like a bad character that you have fun playing, and it's because people worry like, oh, is it going to be too hard or whatever. It's
So
like,
is this government is the same from the United
just
States, I
knock a
take?
few hit points
Yeah.
off every enemy you see if you're too weak,
But
and
it's
then
kind of like,
just walk around. But you won't feel like you had to sacrifice, you know.
Yeah.
I get to be these Stranger Things.
which one?
I get to think all the
What do you guys do?
bad guys.
Yeah. These are the good guys.
He-
I'm just gonna watch. Oh, sure, yeah. Someone sitting.
Get out of here, fat.
You're welcome to play it here.
Wow.
You're welcome to play it here.
Oh, thank you.
She's teaching again.
Basic work.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just like to listen. Okay,
But not
sure.
like,
Yeah.
not
Oh,
like-
she's in this.
My friends love this game.
Have you seen the show?
Yeah, how does that
Oh,
work?
oh, you
I mean,
played
does it
this
actually
game?
go with the rules?
Oh,
I don't know.
my
What
friends
is it?
love this game.
Oh, I was like, I love this game too. Like,
She's on Hawaii 5-0.
Oh, really?
I really like one of their racial abilities is speech.
All the fingers.
Yeah.
Literally a picture of Maxine. I thought
Oh,
you were a boomer. I thought you were.
Oh!
I was saying that's awesome if you're a boomer, but you're trying to erase things. I wasn't even talking about people from Mexico.
My
Calm down.
No one's actually handled
Okay, so,
certain
okay, so
I
I'll
think
give
they
you a
can
background on the
talk to
show.
badgers,
But basically,
like burrowing animals.
Something like that.
in that world, like, they, you know, obviously created like
Because I thought that when I read that, I was like,
the world, so they look exactly like humans, and in the show,
I
they
figured,
the entire
They're called
some like
silence.
Raven.
What? They're called silent.
So they destroyed the Earth, and you know, people survived and really
How
well.
frustrated this third world would get because he probably has something he can kill him by saying, and this is probably like,
And then this is where Rosalind becomes the president because basically like so many people died that she became president. She was like the secretary.
Probably doesn't.
She was like the 23rd.
Yeah, yeah, it was really
he's
William Adama is like Patrick. Is like
really terrible.
he's like Captain Picard who's Batman.
So this says
so yeah, so basically like that, and depending on who you pick, you might become the president or the admiral, and they have special abilities as well. Okay, so the objective of the game depends on whether you're a
Yeah.
human or a silent. And so if you're a human, the goal of the game is to basically get to Cobalt,
He's
which is
so
like
funny.
right, like up to like 13, it costs 1 each, and then up to 14.
Zach, how do you
the
cancel
goal
this?
is to basically get to Cobalt
What?
without any of these
I made a really
resources
big
out,
mistake,
without
though.
us.
Oh, nice.
Resources, okay.
Yeah. And then the goal, if you're a Cylon, is to basically kill the humans before they reach.
Wear the supple skin.
Okay,
And
customizing.
hey, Angie, how's it going?
Hey, going good. How are you?
Did you want to join in on this crazy game?
I did not.
Okay, I was like, it's kind of a long moment. So.
No.
Okay.
She's taking it like
Using this
I am.
15 is the highest ability.
Okay, so I'll just quickly go over kind of like the phases and
Right,
what we're
right.
doing.
That's interesting. This is
So basically, the first phase is that
I know in
you
fourth
pick your
edition,
character, and also
third also, I think you can get up to 18 and then up all the way to 20.
if you're a Cylon,
Yeah.
the best strategy for Cylons is to actually try to play covertly until you have to deal because you become a little bit less effective. Secretly try to see.
Right, let's see. Strength 16. How do you get
so-
that?
So, like, they have some Cylons on board.
See them?
So there's actually, well, Okay, so the first step is, like, say it's my turn. The first step I would do is use my skill card. So if I would, for example, guys, I would take. Yeah, we will choose.
I know.
If I was Guy's Baltar, I'd get 2 yellow cards, which is the politics cards. One additional Second step is that I can move anywhere. So every character has a starting location. So you might start the research lab. Laura, the president, starts in the ocean. So you can move to a location, and it's free to move a location. You have to start like a do that. And then you can take an action. And so an action would be something like activating weapons. For example, like the weapons control allows you to action.
Trade your ability scores each increased by 1.
What is a fighter?
The other thing is
so we'll eventually like deploy these guys and like fight something.
They're fighter.
There's something like that.
strength
and then these cards will some of them will have actions as well, and it'll actually say it'll say it's an action. Some of them don't, and then some are like you play them. So that would be in a realm. So again, an action is activating a location or playing one of your cards out of your hand, or revealing yourself as a Cylon if that is that you want to do that.
What would you gain by doing that?
I will. Yeah, that's such a long game to explain. So I'm trying to figure out the fastest way to explain it. Yes. So let me think. So after you perform your action, the last step we do is we draw a card. So this is kind of like the co-op aspect of it. Things like that, right? So along with a trader, also these bad things happen every time. So I've drawn my cards, I've moved my character, I've taken an action, and now I draw the crisis card. So I flip it over. This is a pretty standard crisis card. It's called a skill check. So you can read the story if you want to, but basically what it is we have to, using our cards combined, get at least a 6 or higher in order to not fail this skill. So as you can see, the 2 colors that are highlighted here, the color bar that maybe colors, is red and purple. And so what we'll do is, like, if I was the one that drew this, we'll talk about it. So, okay, like, how much should everybody
well, he's only using one weapon.
Do you draw a crisis card after every turn?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's a lot of okay, so we talk about like kind of how much you contribute and kind of plan ahead. You cannot say things like I will contribute a 5 of, like you can say like I can help a little bit, I can help a lot, so kind of not like super specific. And then we'll go around. So Alex will put in however many cards he wants. He'll put in cards. The only way it will count towards the 6 is if it's red or purple. If you put in any other card and it's not going to be face down, it counts against the score.
So you might be a Cylon.
So this is how Cylons can
jacket with the tile. Okay.
And in addition to that, there's actually what's called a destiny deck. There's 2 of each of these. And so at the end of the skills check, we'll actually also put 2 cards in randomly, so then you don't quite know if it was just the destiny thing or if it was something that did that option. Does that make sense?
Oh, I thought
Starbuck is my spirit animal.
Okay. You're claiming her?
Oh, that's
So there's always a pass and a fail, and actually sometimes if the fail is not workable, sometimes you might decide like, hey, we don't want to fail.
so the rules, the official.
So the pass in this case is no effect. So the fail in this case is
Oh my
the
gosh.
admiral may spend 1 fuel, if he does not, then -1 morale, and the current player is sent to sleep. So sometimes there's certain cards that are the other thing that can happen is obviously wild activations. But the only thing that formally makes it happen is so basically, like, if we figure out that like
Wow.
It could be more like canon.
So one thing to think about, I'll talk a little bit more about Cylon strategy, but like as you're putting in your secret like cards, you always kind of want to like not make it so obvious, because we could be like, well, Ken's the only one that has good engineering cards, and all of the bad cards are always blue, so we think it's Ken. You know what I mean? So that's kind of. But if you've got like half and half, then you might even pass the skill check. And then every time it's his turn, he has to basically keep it so we can keep him there. Obviously, you don't want to be in the brig, like you pretty much can't do anything, you're very limited on what you can do. So if you are the Cylon and you get stuck in the brig, and you can't really convince people otherwise, it's complicated to reveal. But it's better to be able to reveal yourself as a Cylon before you get into the brig, because you get like a special ability. But at the same time, you want to kind of like stay on the grid as long as possible because you're more effective subversively doing things than like so I'll explain. There are other types of cards in here, but I think we can kind of go over that as it happens. Another thing that happens is basically, so some cards on the left will show you like what's happening out here. So it'll like activate certain things, like a base star will launch like a ship and they'll attack and things like that. And every time we see this,
What will launch the ship?
a base star is like this dude. This is a very bad dude. Every time we see this action, the nice thing is what we get to do is we get to move our little ship up one on the jump preparation track. And this is what we need to do in order to get to Cobalt, like in order to win the game. So every time we resolve a crisis that has this, we get to move it up. And once we get to here, or maybe the next one, I have to double check, we automatically jump. And so what that looks like,
the end of the game?
no, we have to do that like 3 times. So that's why it takes such a long time. So once we do this, the Admiral gets to choose our destination. Now this is the destination deck. So he gets to flip over 2, and he'll read them, and he'll...
Excuse me just a minute.
Yeah.
Alex, would you be receptive to our request to turn down volume just a little?
Oh, yeah.
It's really hard to track what's being said.
Explain this stupid and complicated game.
No, you're doing a great
When
job.
I was
Thank you.
18
I was like thinking ahead of time, like how will I explain this?
When I was 18 and went to college, I could not hear people at parties.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
a
the
developed
ambient.
skill, but still, I'm not as good at starting as some people.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. That's it's hard sometimes to have a lot of memories. So I don't know if it's with Josh.
Monster.
Okay. The Admiral is the one that gets to make this decision, and they don't get to show anybody what the decision is that they're making. So just look at the cards and they'll go, which one is better? Now the distance, we have to basically travel 8 distance units and then jump 1 more time and then we win as humans. So this is only a 1 distance unit and this is a 2.
Oh, these are jumps.
Yes,
I see.
but usually the ones, usually like the higher the distance units, the worse the consequence. So you kind of have to choose like, do I want
Oh, in
to
other words, it's really jarring to the ship too.
Sure, yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, you can be the Admiral and the Cylon, right? So could you
yes,
like,
exactly.
let-
So
that's
it's even
terrible.
more important to if they're the president or the Admiral to kind of figure it out. And then I think if you go to the brig, they lose their title if they leave. So that
That makes sense.
right, so basically Admiral has to pick between the 2 cards, pick the best one, and like if you're the Cylon, you could be like, oh shoot, you guys, like that was the best one, but really there was like a really awesome one that you're hiding, so again, like that can also matter a lot. So this one, for example, allows you to travel 1 distance unit, but you lose 1 fuel and some other things. So this is like anywhere from 1 to 3 units on that.
So how do we decide who's the Admiral?
It will depend on who picks the roles, and there's like an order of succession, just like in real life. So that's, and then
Can the
basically,
Admiral die?
well, the Admiral can get sent to the brig, in which case they lose their title like this to the next person
I see.
in succession. Or you can like, I don't know, there's like a coup and stuff like that. That's kind of basically the game. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously there's a lot of different actions, and we can kind of learn them as we go. Character-wise, we can go ahead and start picking characters. So what will happen is the first person to pick a character can pick whoever they want, but the next person has to pick someone that is not the same color because we need a really balanced team. The only one that you can pick anytime is the support. I think you can pick that anytime.
Now, is it true if you have only certain colors on your thing, those are the only color cards you're ever going to get?
Yes, except that there are certain locations that allow you to draw. So like in the research lab, you can draw a engineering card or a tactics card. So that's the only way you can get it. If a card has like a 2 color thing, then you can basically pick like 2 green or 2 yellow or like 1 green, 1 yellow, and you can change.
Nice.
For the skill checks, the most common ones that you'll need is politics and leadership. And then
What is this word, CAG?
Because all the spells targeted like reflex or will. So you
Looks
would
like
kind
it's a
of go
massive
and
launch
see
of firepower.
which of his
yeah, it sounds
defenses
like it has to
is the
be
weakest. Let me-
So yeah, a lot of so the other thing, and I guess it's actually applies to Alex because I think he really wants to be Starbucks. There's stuff happening
He really
out
wants
here.
to
If
be
I
what?
can, if I can't, then I don't need to be, but it's just fun. I like our characters.
So,
There you go, Alex.
so Alex, you want to be Starbucks?
I would love to be Starbuck.
What's that?
Well, darn, then I can't be a pilot, can I?
Yeah.
Probably not. No. Sorry. Wait. Oh, sorry. Wrong character. Yes.
But I'm just trying to have fun. If that cripples the game,
Cripples me.
I
Oh,
think
well, that's
everybody
good.
wants to be a pilot. Apparently. Okay. As the pilot, Alex, you're gonna be in charge of dealing with the threats that are happening outside of the ship. So there's some stuff that's happening there too. But we can explain it more as we go on.
So is William Adama, is he the admiral?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can just go around. I don't care like who wants to do it, so you guys can.
Now, is this your choice already?
No, no.
Okay. Alright, so who is this guy?
I will say that if you pick Gaius Baltar or Sharon, because they're both shady characters in the show, you'll have a higher chance of being the silent.
Oh.
Okay, cool. Yes, let me
Well,
know.
that's curious.
So you guys can probably pick and figure it out.
Already.
Oh, really? It actually depends on.
Yeah, so basically, there's a certain number of like you are a Cylon, you are not a Cylon cards, but those two characters have to take 2 cards up front, so the higher chances, because in the show they're kind of shady characters.
Yes, yes.
And those are which ones?
Gaius, Baltar, and Sharon.
I'm Katie Sackhoff. You might know me as Cars Race, also known as Starbuck.
Each character has like 2 strengths and 1 weakness, basically.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know the game, so
Yeah, go for it.
go right ahead.
Engineering, you can pick whatever you want. So you're picking.
Alright.
Okay, sweet. So you would.
Oh, that's right. We can't have this one because you're already a pilot.
You should pick a green or a yellow.
Let's see.
So just not the 2 pilots. Don't pick any of these ones.
I should say this one tends to go shady.
Yeah, she's like the original president in the show.
You seem like president too.
I could also see you as a Zarek. Tom Zarek.
I think I'll go Zarek.
Okay.
I like the idea of having 3 colors.
So then I think I need to pick a military. I'll just pick Drama.
That makes sense.
And then Jeremiah will just pick for him. And at this point, since everybody's been picked, he gets to pick these characters again. So if you really wanted to pick the pilot again, you could switch and have him take the Code Leader, as long as we have like an even-ish.
I'll be Zarek. That looks interesting.
So I guess we can figure that out later for him, I guess.
And Jeremy money.
Hey!
Yay! You get to pick a character.
Just in time.
Yes.
Pick a character.
I only saw the bald guy.
Oh, you could be a Saul. You could be.
I think it actually. Well,
Wait, what? He doesn't know what's going on.
do you want to be a pilot, a military leader, or a political leader?
Whoa, wait.
I'll do a
Tennessee
pilot.
took 4 states?
Alrighty, so we have 5 people. Okay.
We're all like, hey.
So nobody picks the 2 shady characters, right?
Just telling you.
Is that how the show goes?
That's how the show goes.
Is it
Yes,
possible
you
that there are
would've.
no
Hey,
signs
I know
or
this
whatever in
person.
the game?
Yeah,
Well,
Alex
I am so
She's dear
glad.
to my heart.
So we kind of started
I
explaining
get
the
it.
game, but we'll like throw
Okay,
it.
okay.
One of the rules
Throw
is
me
that I
in.
take these cards and go.
Let's keep it all.
Is that
We're
what
not
they do on the
magnets.
They were just kissing.
Okay.
He's like, alright, I got
Side?
it.
Non-magnet side.
Okay,
They're role players.
So let me
Role
explain
players.
the traitor element. So
Hi, how are you doing?
Hello.
I'm Alex. I'm the owner.
Hi.
What's your name?
Malcolm.
Malcolm. How'd you hear about us, Malcolm?
Well, I had this friend that comes here,
Uh huh.
and
Who's your friend?
Wyatt.
Oh yeah.
And I was taking driving lessons over there, and my mom walked over here while she was waiting and said there was this game lounge.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
I have to
so-
leave.
Oh, okay.
But
Been
if
here.
I were
I know it's a
in
long
the
game.
States, I would love.
I'm like,
Yeah, no,
oh,
I
yeah,
love
that
all
was
games.
Wyatt.
Oh,
Get
good.
involved.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Wyatt's not
Awesome. How
here
often are you
today.
here? Usually
Yeah.
like here on Thursdays usually, or like what day?
I come on Fridays
Okay.
in the evening, and I do I play games with like Gracie and River.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Soda.
And are you guys playing like the Starfighter or?
We were, but now we're just kind of playing like
It's
whatever
like
board games.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So if you come,
Like
if
on a
you,
Friday?
if you came there, yeah, or if you were gonna
And are
come
you,
bring this game like next
greater
time,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just come whenever
Okay,
days.
sure. Yeah,
So
we should
you're in
connect
high
on
school,
Facebook.
so from 3
Oh,
to
cool.
7,
Yeah.
right after school, it's only $2 to
Or
come
actually,
in.
I don't have a Facebook.
And you
Oh,
get
okay.
Say what,
Is there
Alex?
another
Right.
way?
Yeah, whatever you prefer.
It's
Give me
free
your
to
phone
come in and
number
hang out. You can
text
hang out as
you
long
or-
as you want.
Yeah,
But if you want access to the
please.
internet and the Xbox,
It must
the
be
rest of
like
all that
that
stuff, just
Harry
$2.
Potter thing, so I must stab
Yeah,
it.
so I'm glad you came in. I really am.
He just
You're
comes
awesome,
back.
dude.
There's a whole.
Thank you.
I was like, oh no. I didn't know
So
if it was
I
like the
love
Friday
seeing
service
the
or
magic
Friday
in
night
people's
service.
eyes. Like,
I'm
because I
on
had that
Sunday
look on my face when I
Oh,
was
okay.
younger too. It's like, oh my god, it
I know,
exists.
it's like, it's
And
hard
I'm like,
because everybody
I
wants
know
to play
what
different
you
days.
mean. Like, I've been there.
Yes, I
Except
could
I'm
easily
not.
have been there. I just have a hard time believing that kid is in 10th grade.
Yeah, he's in 10th grade.
Okay.
That's what he says.
He's taking
Wait.
driving test.
He's
He must have
Yes.
skipped the 5th grade.
he's
He must be smart.
physically delayed.
Short. But
Okay.
But I'm glad he'll come back.
Okay,
but
so
that's usually how it is. They start short, and then at like
Okay,
21,
so
they're
That's my
different.
name, Valerie.
okay,
Just a little bit
perfect.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, so just
There's
give me
a couple of
text
girls in
me.
my house
Okay,
grade
I'm
that
not
just
playing
puberty
next
in
time.
12th grade as far
Maxine,
as
I think I saw
Yeah,
you
I
once
remember we
before.
talked.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember.
Yeah, it's like Caroline and Michelle. Will you ever grow up? Not much.
Okay, are you guys ready for the roll card? So there's 10 cards here, and in the beginning we're gonna give out 5. There are 2 You Are a Cylon cards, and there are 8 You Are Not a Cylon cards. So in the first half of the game, there may not be any Cylons actually. Could all just be fine, or there could be 2, or there could be 2, there could be 1. Halfway through the game, because in the show, halfway through the series, people who thought they were human turned into Cylons.
Spoilers!
Such a good series.
What did you say?
Spoilers.
Sorry.
I haven't seen the series.
Oh.
It's alright.
You should.
It's alright.
Awesome.
It's alright.
It's so good.
I'm
You
fine.
would love the series.
So good. So
Oh, have you
addictive.
seen it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know.
Portlandia did a skit. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it kind of came out with all the other. It came right out after. Star Trek, not Next Generation, the next one.
Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine. Didn't it come out around the same time as Deep Space
I can't remember
Nine?
because I ended up watching it all
Towards
on
the
Netflix,
end.
like,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was somewhere around in there.
So the main thing is Portlandia did a sketch where they were just like, oh, I've heard about this show. Yeah, let's watch an episode. And then at the end of it, they were just like, oh, we'll just watch one more episode.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the next morning, they're like, is it already time for work? And they're like, you know, we haven't taken off work or vacation in a while. Let's just take the day. We'll call in sick. Yeah, just one more episode. And then like they keep following it up like weeks later. They're like, oh, we can't end it there. And like they end up losing their jobs. The electricity's shut off in their house. They just can't break away from this show. So good.
I take it this is not the original run. This is like when
No,
you
this is the new run, yeah. And the new run was pretty much one of the best TV shows in all of television history. It was
Yeah, but I mean,
phenomenal.
they couldn't spend their whole day watching it because it would only be like a 1 hour day, right?
No, binge
No.
watching.
Oh, this was binge watching, like when it came on in Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to say. So you're catching up on old shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Binge watching, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never
I
heard
call
the
it.
phrase.
I
but
call
get
it chain smoking. Chain smoking TV shows.
Okay, funny trail. All right, so basically, we're gonna pass out the first 5, and then once we travel 4 distance unit, which is halfway through the game, we're gonna pass out the rest of the loyalty cards. So if you are a human in the first half of the game and you get a Cylon card, you are then a Cylon. So your Cylon card trumps your human card. So, I mean, strategically, actually, you may, even as a human, not want to do super well because there is a chance that you'll have to switch sides.
Oh dear.
So, that's basically
That's weird.
So,
What if I want to do well? Like,
yeah, you could also just,
What if while I'm human I want to help the team?
There's also like a sympathizer thing, but I think we don't have to play that way. Okay, so and I'll talk a little bit about strategy for humans versus Cylons. But, you know, pretend to listen to both sides.
Oh my goodness. Hey!
Okay, and oh, that's it. Okay.
What?
Everybody take like 10 seconds and read your card because Cylon cards and not Cylon cards require different amounts of reading. So everybody just look at your card, read it. If you are a Cylon, then basically there will be a little descriptor on the bottom, and it basically says like when you reveal yourself as a Cylon, you get to perform this action. Now, if you reveal yourself as a Cylon while you're in the brig, you don't get to perform that action. So that's why I said it's a good thing to try to reveal while you're not in the brig. So, but you don't want to reveal too early because I also mentioned that you're more effective subversively doing things than actively doing things.
Gotcha.
What if either way, Cylon or not Cylon, my card's a bunch of crap because it's not the one I hoped for? I'm just
There's only 2. Okay. If you do become a Cylon, the gameplay changes for you, and you basically move up to only the Cylon locations, and I can describe that more later.
In other words, if you reveal,
yes,
then you
can only play here, and you can't perform as much in the skill checks and things like that. It's just not quite as powerful to me. So we can talk more about that later. But in general, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about strategy so that you can kind of know how you want to play it. So the human strategy, so 2 things that need to be taken into account. Basically, trying try not to run out of resources. And as I mentioned, like these two tend to be the most helpful in skill checks. And then, so for Cylon, while unrevealed, during skill checks, Cylon players should find any and all reasons to avoid helping out. When they do help out, they should make sure to throw in a negative card or two to cancel out their help. However, Cylon players should be careful not to look too suspicious and should make sure to use resource types that other players could have thrown in as well. Oftentimes, the best way to avoid suspicion is to make wild accusations, make other players seem more suspicious. Again, it's fairly important for Cylon players to avoid being placed in the brig while unrevealed. While in the brig, Cylon players cannot use the special ability on their loyalty cards, but may still reveal themselves.
Why would you?
Is there an exploit where you can literally just...
That's a good question. I mean, it kind of depends on your loyalty, right? So, yes, okay, that's, and then while revealed, there's another strategy which I'll explain once somebody reveals. So, any, I know you didn't, sorry, I missed the first part of it, but any questions about gameplay, objective?
Let's talk about all the play spaces.
Say again?
Let's talk about all the play spaces.
Sure, so, okay, so just real briefly again,
This guy?
oh yeah, everybody can find their character.
I'm Zarek.
I'm this guy, oh wait, yeah, and then you are...
I did not see you guy.
Oh, he's probably in here.
He's laying down. He's right here.
Okay, and then there's little stands in here, I think. Or what did I do with it?
They're right here. These?
Yes. Thank you. So who needs a stand?
I saw a vendor at a game con who done a great job of
I think we're
making little stiff cellophane cards so that you could easily and cheaply make lots of different things that could go in little stands.
Okay. So.
Wait, where's Zarek?
Oh, did you
there
not
he
get
is.
him? Okay. Does everybody have their character now?
I do.
Okay, so as we mentioned, so because he's Tom Zarek, he is president, and there's an order. There's an order of succession. So like if he gets thrown in the brig or becomes a Cylon, somebody else will become president. I am William Adama, so I am the military leader, so I'm automatically the admiral. Anyone and the admiral get to make certain decisions throughout the game, but at the start of the game, you get to draw one quorum card. The quorum cards are. Where are they? Here. So an example of a quorum card is, it's usually like a way to help like boost morale or things like that. So they kind of just like they start with one, and then if you ever want to draw more, you can basically
Pay resources?
You activate this location, which is the president's office. So actually everybody on their card should have a starting location. So at the very bottom it says setup, and so if you can find that location on the board, you can start your player there. So
and you save this card and can play it when you want to.
Yes, and that would be your, I think that counts as your action.
So I launch and pilot a Viper.
Okay, so you start off in space. Okay.
Give me all the shit before I
Do you
die.
want to, give me 1 second. I need to actually set up the rest of the...
Hello.
When I think someone is a Cylon, can I shoot them?
You cannot shoot them, but you can throw them in the brig and convince everybody else.
I'm waiting on Rachel to get here because I'm gonna help her with her math.
You must be a Cylon.
And then I'm here.
This is here. There's 3 of these guys. And...
Oh,
I don't know what's going inside the ship, but I know what's going inside my ship. Nothing. It's
I'm
tiny
staying
thing.
out in space.
Oh.
No, float around. Don't shoot me though, please. Silent, please.
Oh, I'll be joining you.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Are we pilots? Oh, you're a pilot.
But I started in the hangar deck.
Oh, you sir. Okay.
1 base star and 3.
That would be hysterical.
Place 2 Vipers below the galactic line.
Okay.
So 2 Viper dudes. 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay, so those are unmanned
Is Rick
ones.
coming tonight?
How did Zarek get to be president? I thought Laura Roslin was going to
So, but she's not in
I
gameplay,
didn't
so
see.
it went to you.
Okay.
Alright, these are all the bad dudes. These are the good guys.
You mean text
some of
him,
these are
Karen?
unmanned, and so anybody can actually control an unmanned one by coming
Okay.
to the command
I'll text
station,
him real quick,
and you
let him
can
know
activate
here.
up to 2
Okay, bye.
unmanned Vipers. You guys will actually pilot actual Vipers, so then you can control your own, obviously, as your action. So you said you start off with a Viper, and you can either start off in this quadrant or this one, so whichever one you prefer. I don't know. These guys are going to start moving towards you, and you'll be the first thing that they attack. So
yeah, I'll be in first line of defense.
Good job, you're so brave. Already
Give me
good.
names for
He's
these-
definitely not a
Give me
Cylon.
these names for these Cylon pieces.
Raiders, I think.
Man, what's that big star thingy?
That's a base star. Good job. And then, and then we have 2 civilian ships in the back. So these guys are like the little baby ships that we're protecting. And what these guys will do is whenever these are activated and it'll show up on a card, they'll start moving towards like people / whatever. The first thing they'll do is try to attack a manned viper, and then an unmanned viper, and then last they'll attack a ship. And if they destroy the ship, each of these have like a thing underneath it, so it'll show us like we'll lose like food or population or fuel. And stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's big.
If they destroy these, are they ever replaced? Or
No, so we just
too
well,
down in the game?
yeah, like we'll have different cards that'll set up different things, but yeah.
Do we like arrive at different planets and get those rejuvenated?
No, because the whole storyline is that we are the survival of the human race. So
We're
there
trying to
are
get
no
to a
other
planet.
humans. We're
Well,
basically like.
But once in a while, we will get. So these are the crisis cards. Most of them are skill checks, which I was talking about earlier. Some of them look like this. So this would actually create a new setup, and there would you'd put more passenger ships here, as well as like base stars and things like that.
Okay.
Now, let me see.
But there aren't humans on other planets that we pick up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our goal of the game is our planet exploded, and we're trying to get to Cobalt to like settle popularity.
Yeah. Okay. I
Wait,
get
so when could that card happen?
This could happen. This is in the crisis deck, so just pop up anytime.
that. Oh no, this is reminding me of Dead of Winter.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
game.
it does.
I like that game too.
You've played it?
Yes.
Nick loves that game.
Also, you might want to read your card because no one's gonna remember your special abilities for you, so you need to remember them.
Alert, Viper.
So you have 2 strengths and 1 weakness. So my strengths are when I draw a crisis card, all strength 1 skill cards count positive. So that's pretty awesome. And
Criminal, huh? Oh dear.
and then once per game, I can actually take all the skill cards into my hand when we've done a skill check. But my decline is that I may not activate the Admiral Quarters location. So what's your?
Alright, we've got friends in low places. When a player activates administration or brig, I may choose to reduce or increase the difficulty by 2.
Okay.
And unconventional tactics, once per game, use 1 population to gain 1 of any other resource type.
Okay. And then your weakness, you're a
Convicted
criminal.
criminal. So I can't activate locations occupied by other characters except for
So kind of honor system, everybody remember your stuff.
So,
now, what does it mean to activate the brig?
So activate means activating a location. That's your actions. So activating would be like you're activating. You're saying I want to try to accuse someone and throw them in the brig.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can kind of like use your influence to make it like easier or harder to do.
how long are we trying to last?
I think actually. There's 2 people here.
I don't
We
know.
have 3.
Whenever I play these,
we're
type of
trying
games.
to move
You're
8
starting here too.
units through space.
8 units through space.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have to move 8 units and then jump 1 more time.
Okay.
And
Okay.
these will move up as we draw crisis cards.
All right. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, what was your stuff?
During your turn, after you use a repair skill card, you may take another action.
Okay.
Once per turn. Blind Devotion once per game. After cards have been added to a skill check, but before revealing them, you may choose a skill type. All cards of the chosen type are considered strength 2.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And then what's your negative?
Your hand limit is 8 instead of 10.
Oh yes, that's it. So at the end of any player's turn, if your hand limit is more than 10, you have to discard down to 10.
Okay.
It's usually not a problem because we're usually like really short on cards because we're all trying to do skill checks. So we want to like pass skill checks, but not like be so crazy that the next time we have more cards. You know.
Talk to me about these action spaces up here that I can't readily read.
Okay, can we quickly talk through their actions really quick? Their cards. Whenever you do your card.
Read.
This.
No, not that one. Don't read that one.
You are not a human? I knew this all along.
Okay. Expert pilot. When you start your turn, pilot a Viper. You may take 2 actions during your action step instead of 1. Secret Destiny. Once per game, immediately after a crisis card is revealed, discard it and draw a new one.
Okay.
Insubordinate. When a player chooses you with Admiral Quarter location, reduce the difficulty by 3.
Oh, Admiral Quarter is. Where is it?
There. This was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, this is where you try to. Sorry, this is where you try to send someone to the brig.
Oh,
so,
I see.
Yeah.
So she's good at sending some.
Yeah. Sorry. What did it say again?
Reduce the difficulty by 3.
Yeah.
So good to put someone
When
in
a player chooses you.
No, it's easier to throw her in the brig because she's insubordinate.
Oh, okay.
Because she's
Insubordinate.
So obviously a side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've got like a convicted criminal and an insubordinate.
Oh, okay. Okay. When a Viper is placed in the space area from the quote-unquote reserves,
Okay.
from there, you may choose to pilot it and take one action.
Okay, so basically, like, when we have to put one here from, like, a setup, we can just jump in immediately and start going. So it's like,
Okay. You may only do this when you are on a Galactica location, excluding the brig.
Okay.
Action once per game, you may activate up to 6 unmanned Vipers.
Wow. And your weakness?
Headstrong. When you are forced to discard skill cards, you must discard randomly.
Oh.
You must discard what?
Randomly.
Okay. So everybody just remember your stop stores.
Headstrong.
Okay, so you... What do you... Okay. So as I mentioned, you can during your turn move anywhere for free, like once. But if you're gonna switch between ships, you have to discard a skill card to do that. So this one, just activating this one, the action is that you get to just draw 2 yellow cards. This one is if you're the president, you get to draw a quorum card. And then this one is this one is if we want to impeach the president. And basically try to give somebody else the president title. So it's like, oh man, this guy's definitely a Cylon, and we're totally taking out his president privileges. This one, I didn't explain this. So this is FTL control. So as I mentioned, you have to basically get up to here before we can jump. But if we're like really desperate and we want to get out of here, like say there's like tons of stuff happening here or just we need to go, we can try to jump early. So what happens is this says -3, this says -1. If you try to jump in one of these locations and you roll the die and you get a 7 or 8, perfect, we're awesome. If we get a 6 or lower, we lose 3 population or we lose 1 population. So it's obviously a risk, but sometimes it's worth taking depending on what the situation is at the time.
Gotcha.
So that's how to activate that one.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See you guys Friday.
Bye.
See you again. Take care.
Bye. This one is attack.
You just popped in for a moment, huh?
She's been here for a couple hours.
She's been here.
Gotcha.
So this one is attack 1 Cylon ship with the Galactica itself. So the Galactica has some powers. This one is activate up to 2 unmanned Vipers, the ones that are not controlled by people. This one is look at the back of 2 civilian ships. You may then move them to an adjacent area. So I could look at like these 2 and then like move them around to like make sure we like conserve the one that we need the most of. This one is sending someone to the brig. This one's draw 1 blue or 1 purple card. And it doesn't matter the limitations on your card. You can just remember. This one is obviously launching the Viper. This one is attacking a Centurion on the boarding party track. I'll talk about that later. This one is sick bay. If you're in sick bay, basically like if your ship gets destroyed while you're while you're doing something, you get sent to sick bay, and then you can just move out after that. But the downside is that you can only draw 1 skill card during that step. Brig is the brig, so I think that's basically it.
How can you get out of the brig?
You have to pass the skill check.
What does that involve?
So, so it works like any other skill check. So when everybody throws in their cards, purple and yellow will get you towards this number, but any other color will count against you. So you really, basically what you have to do is you have to convince enough people to help you out. Because you're probably not going to pass it yourself unless other people agree that you shouldn't be in the brig.
And to put someone in the brig also takes 7.
Different colors, I guess. So
Use
here's how
restroom, I'll be
you
back.
use the brig.
Green and purple. Okay.
So,
if you try and fail to send someone to the brig, does it bounce back on you?
I mean, only like emotionally. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe you just did that. You know, I don't know, whatever. But no, not necessarily. So this is the Destiny deck. Any other questions that kind of cover most things for you guys?
I think that covered most of it.
Yeah. Cool.
I think the best way to learn now is just try it.
Yeah, and then also as the Admiral, I get two nukes.
Wow.
There.
Oh joy! Oh joy! She can nuke the whole ship.
No, I launched the nuke at the base star, so it does a lot of damage, but I only get 2 for the whole game.
Can the base star ever be destroyed?
Yes. Yeah, so this is the starting location, but once we jump, actually there'll be nothing here, and then we won't have to worry until another card comes up, actually. So
oh, I see.
It's kind of crazy in the beginning, and then in the middle it's like, okay, unless we get one.
No, I had no.
Okie dokie. Cool. So I think actually any player goes first. It's kind of random, but I can go first if that helps or whatever.
Then we have these things about Damage Galactica. What does it look like for the ship to take damage?
Yeah.
Does it close off certain areas?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when something damages Galactica, which could be through the Cylons or through like one of these guys attacking the ship, we draw a damage token. The damage tokens I have to remember which one's which. These ones, like, we flip it random, it'll damage a location, and we can't use it until the location is fixed, and only the engineering guy can fix it. He'll usually get a card that says fix a location. So these are all like location tokens. These guys are like different things get damaged, and I honestly don't remember at the time, so we'll have to look it up when we get there.
So like a tiny ship blows up?
Since we're waiting for Alex, the other thing is, so something else that can get launched from the base star is this guy. Honestly, this has never happened for me, and I've played this a lot, but these guys also get launched, and they start moving towards the towards these, and if they ever get there, then something. Yeah, they'll board, yeah, exactly. And then one of these dudes goes like this, and then every time this guy gets activated, it'll move up, 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 and if we get to here, we lose. So in order to keep that from happening, you have to fight them from one of these. Yes, that location. I've never seen this happen, honestly, so it's not.
Oh, what is the die? If the die can roll, oh, it's an 8-sided die. Okay.
Yeah, and then once in a while, these guys get used. They're really more for like taking a risk and doing something. So we'll just talk about that when we get there.
What do you call them?
What?
What do you call them?
These are heavy raiders. These are
Vipers.
Wait, sorry. These are good guys. I always get confused.
That's what
Those
I'm
are
saying.
heavy raiders. These are something. It's been a really long time.
And now we're pod racers.
Also, if you're a Cylon, I think the easiest one to run down is morale in terms of crisis cards.
Yes.
So just FYI.
Reminds me of...
Okay. Cool beans.
Poor Alex.
I see mention over there of super crisis cards.
Yeah, so super crisis cards. Right, okay, so let me tell you what happens when you reveal as a Cylon, just so everybody.
Is there a
Sorry,
deck of
there's so much
super crisis
explanation ahead of
cards
time
somewhere?
because it's hard to like play strategically unless you know what's happening.
Gotcha.
There's a new couch over there. I didn't see that.
I know, right? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I just all
Okay.
of a sudden you know, the guys. And I'm like,
So as I mentioned, you can reveal yourself as a Cylon as your action on your turn. So once you do that, the first thing you do is you discard down to 3 skill cards, and then you lose any titles, which would be like, Admiral and President, and then those would go to the next line of succession. And then you move your character to the Resurrection ship. So you would come up here. This one. And then you receive a Super Crisis card, which is just like a really bad Crisis card, and any special actions that we can take against Crisis cards do not count against Super Crisis cards.
Oh, dude.
So,
that was my next question.
yeah, so this card remains in your hand, and then you can activate it by activating the Caprica location. And then the turn is over, and basically as a revealed Cylon, you can only draw like 2 cards per turn, and you can only put 1 card into a skill check. So you can't do as much damage that way, but you do the damage.
So since there's Cylons aboard the ship, if they reveal themselves, does this start counting down?
No, that's like a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can just quickly go over these while we're waiting for Alex. This one says, so if you activate Caprica, you get to play your Super Crisis card or draw 2 Crisis cards and choose 1 to resolve. Cylon Fleet, activate all Cylon ships of 1 type or launch 2 raiders or 1 heavy base from each base star. So it's like doing stuff out here.
Dude, that's cool.
Human Fleet action, look at any player's hand and steal 1 skill card and then roll a die, and if it's 5 or higher, damage Galactica. Resurrection ship, you may discard your Super Crisis card to draw a new one, and then if the distance is 7 or less, give your unrevealed loyalty card to any player. Oh yeah, that was the other thing.
So now if you activate your super crisis card, then you don't have one anymore, right?
Yeah, I think you can only take 1 once. So if you're a Cylon and you reveal before the halfway point, and then you happen to get the second you are a Cylon card, you can immediately give that to somebody else.
What? And make them a
Seriously?
Cylon?
You could
Because
convert,
it's
you could
unfair.
openly convert somebody.
But
yeah,
you would
if
stay.
you're already revealed.
Would you stay
Yes,
at
you would
Cylon?
also. So you're drawing someone to your side. If you're not, if you haven't revealed yourself as a Cylon and you get those cards, then once you reveal, then that's when you would go to this location and give your other card to somebody else. So it keeps it fair because it's not really fair if one person gets both Cylon cards and it's like them against everybody else. So.
That's crazy.
Weird.
That's
But wait,
awesome.
what if
It is.
Never mind.
That's so strategic.
Yeah, it's a really well
So you
balanced.
could
game.
have a totally pacifist game for the first half, but you
could.
definitely
But I mean,
can't
there's
for the
definitely
second
gonna be
half.
wild accusations as well. And then in certain
feel like
games,
Alex
like
is
4 or
saying
6-player games, there's a sympathizer card, and so halfway through the game, if the humans are doing well, then it doesn't do anything. But if they're doing badly, they turn to the silent. So it helps keep the game balanced, which is yeah. Cool.
All right, so
Oh, I guess I can go. I mean, I can just go. I guess.
I guess I'm born in the administration room, which seems pretty boring.
Okay. All right, so my first dealio. Oh, actually, in the first round is a little bit different. I think you only take 3 skill cards to start, so you can just double check.
Do you take cards that are on?
I'm gonna figure out what my turn is once I get to my turn.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Gotta kill some
Actually,
sheeps.
so each player except the starting player draws a total of 3 skill cards from among any of the cards he can choose during his received skill step. So everybody gets to pick 3, and it has to be within your
Skill set.
Yeah. So like for you, since you
Oh,
have
I take the red card.
Okay.
Or
yeah, everybody gets to take 3
You want
cards.
A Raptor, is those the fancier kind of
No,
ships over
these
there?
ones. So you get to pick 3 of.
Just for this first round.
Okay.
So 3 of
take
any
up
of those cards.
3 of any.
Well, okay. So
Or
when
one
you,
of
on your
each?
normal receive skills check, you'll take 1 purple, 2 red, and then you can pick either like 2 green, 2 yellow, or 1 green, 1 yellow. But for this first round, you only get to pick 3 cards, and you can just pick within that.
Okay.
We get to look at them,
I'll
right?
take
Yes.
1 purple, 1 red, and 1
I don't know why they
green.
make the cards.
1 what?
1 green.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome.
What do I do with these small cute cards?
Okay, perfect. I think we're good. So then I just start normally, so I will take 3 leadership and 2 tactic.
Oh, good.
So when you use these cards as skill check cards, the text does not matter at all. The only thing that matters is the color and the number. So yeah, okay.
All
So
right,
you guys
now I
can
just got a card I need to understand.
yes.
Executive order, choose a player who can either move his character and then take 1 action, or not move and take 2 actions.
Yeah. Is
So
that
s-
does that
since-
say action on it? Is that listed as an action?
It doesn't say action itself. So I'm just, oh yeah, it does, it does.
So as your
Okay,
action,
so-
you can basically have somebody else do more things. than
Cool.
you do by yourself.
So I'm just going, so the room you're in would be an action, but then you could use a card as another action? Is that the general
No,
idea?
so an action is either a card or activating a room. You can only do one or the other.
Okay, so
What if
this
you have a
executive
card?
order could
Or
give,
activating your Viper.
this executive order could give someone the ability to actually do 2 actions.
Yeah. So instead of you doing 1 action, you can allow somebody else to do 2 actions.
Is a move a whole action, or do you move
No, a
and then
move
take
is
an
separate. So on your turn, you receive your cards, you take a move if you want, and then you take 1 action, and then you resolve the crisis card.
Gotcha, okay.
What if I die in space?
There are a couple
No,
cards
I
that
got
actually
you.
even allow you
I got
to
you.
look at someone's loyalty card. However, you can completely lie too. So,
My
Can
loyalty.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
Separate from the game. I completely forgot to ask, is your dad doing better?
oh yes, he is.
Good.
That's right, you left town to visit him
Yeah,
for
I
a
was in Seattle last week.
What, did he just have the bad flu or something?
No,
going on?
he had brain surgery.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
that's
twice.
that's
Yeah.
more than a bad flu.
I'm glad he's doing better.
Thank you. Yeah, he's doing a lot better. Thank God. So,
What
That's
do
awesome.
numbers on the cards?
so those will count towards the skill checks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
so
you'll
you,
see. I'll explain it when we get to the next.
So you would
one.
sacrifice the specific powers of the card in order to use it in the skill check.
Honestly, I usually use them more for skill checks than anything. But
Okay.
actions are cool too. Okay, so I drew my cards, and then I can move somewhere. So where am I? I am in the Admiral's quarters, but my weakness is I actually cannot activate this, so I can't try to accuse anybody.
Strange.
What do we want to do right now?
Can't accuse me. I'm out in space.
When does the crisis card get moved?
At the end of my turn.
Yeah, and what you can do to move toward jump preparation is an engineering action, is that right?
No, the only way that this happens is some of the crisis cards have a little starburst in the corner, and every time we see a starburst, we get to move up.
Oh, okay.
I see. So it's not something you can
You
initiate.
can't control it. Yeah.
So you're trying to conquer the crisis cards.
We're trying to
move forward.
survive.
Yeah.
Basically survive all the crises to the
This
point
is-
where we can, yeah. So survive means these not going down to 0. I think, Alex, you're gone, but morale is the easiest to run down to 0 if you're running crisis cards. And you're a Cylon. Okay. I don't know what I really want to do. I mean, there's not like a whole lot going on. Obviously, this is going to happen soon.
I'm about to go to war. I don't know about you people.
What I
You're
can
going to
do-
blow somebody up?
Yeah.
I mean, what I could do is I could activate this guy and move him up this way. So the first thing these will do is attack him instead of attacking you.
But I thought they target piloted Vipers first.
Well, it's whatever's in their quadrant.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
or I don't know. Or I could just go and like draw some extra cards. Any preferences? Do you care?
No.
Go ahead and activate. Okay. So I will go to the command, and my action is to activate up to 2 unmanned Vipers. So activate means move or attack. So this good dude will go this way, and then maybe I'll just do this to kind of get more things going. And between the two of you, I need to double check which one attacks first, actually. So I think that's all I can do for my turn, and then I will draw a crisis card.
That is actually.
What is this?
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is not a normal skills check. So this says rescue the fleet. The admiral chooses, so this is a choice I have to make, either -2 population or -1 morale, and then we have to add a base star and 3 raiders in front of the Galactica and 3 civilian ships.
Wow. Oh my! What the heck?
Throw her in the brig.
I'll open this up for discussion.
Throw!
Okay, so either okay, we have 12 population, so it's either -2, we'll put this down to 10. It's not too bad.
I think that would probably be better.
Yeah,
crazy,
I don't
right?
think we need to face double the enemy.
Okay.
Although I
Let
haven't
it be
seen
known
combat
that we
yet.
made this decision
No, wait,
together,
wait,
and I'm
wait,
not
wait,
trying to be...
hold up.
I can make a
You
decision.
can make more raiders come out instead of losing?
Yeah, the other choice would be that
-1
another...
morale, and then we add a base star, and we add 3 raiders.
So this is a base star.
So it's like, that's going to be a lot of stuff happening here. I mean, we could do that instead.
How much do base stars hurt you?
The base stars launch that stuff. Okay, alright, I guess we have a lot of, I mean, you guys are going to have to be super active over here. But at least we have 2 pilots.
Okay,
It gets a little
so
cray-cray, but let's try it.
The pallets
sounds
want
cute.
something to okay.
Alright, so 1 morale. So place 1 base star. Can you grab the other base star? In front of the ship, and 3 civilian. And 3 radars in front of the Goliath. Oh, 3 raiders. That's us, right?
No, Raiders is
No, we're
these guys,
Raptors.
right?
No.
Raiders are these.
Oh, raiders are. No, these are raiders. These are Vipers. Okay, so 3 raiders in front of Galactica. So
So
here.
now there's 6 of them.
Yeah, this is gonna get crazy.
Whoever
got
that
this.
was
I
that
thought I
went
only
forward
saw
did
3.
that.
3, and then we're
Messed
gonna
up.
add 3 ships behind Galactica.
Oh
So
my.
put those off.
All the stuff.
Which is just more hazard for us, right?
Yes.
Or
I thought this
Okay.
gives us stuff.
If it gets destroyed, it's bad.
it costs us stuff.
Okay, so here's the 2 icons. The one on the right means that once we resolve this crisis, we get to move forward on the jump track, which is good. The one on the left means this gets activated. So all of these guys are going to each get activated 1 by 1.
And they get activated regardless, or only if the crisis fails?
Only if the card shows that icon. Sometimes it's this icon.
No, I mean, but does that require the crisis failing?
Oh, this happens no matter what.
Oh, I see. There's no skill check here, right?
Yeah, this one there's no skill check. But these
Oh,
happen,
okay.
these always happen. Okay, so let's just do this one at a time, and then let me double check the order in
What
which
do I
they
do
attack
not to
things.
blow up?
Killed it.
Okay,
Wait.
so a raider will first attack a Viper in its area, unmanned if able, and then destroy a civilian ship in its area, and then move towards the nearest civilian ship, and then attack Galactica. Okay, so I'm going to take this one. This one is going to attack this Viper, and so who wants to roll for it? Somebody can roll for it. Okay, so...
Alright, pilots, do your stuff.
1. Okay, so you're good. So 5 to 7 is damage and 8 is destroyed. So, okay. Now, the next one is going to do the same thing. So roll again. We're going to do this 6 times.
What the heck?
3. Yep, good.
Safe.
No.
Damage, right?
Damage. Wait. So
Come on.
That was a 7.
I mean, I don't know what it looks like to damage.
Bail, bail.
Probably looks like this.
Can I reroll?
Is he doing a barrel roll?
I think he's sinking.
When a Viper is damaged, it's placed in the damaged Viper box. Damaged Viper box. Sad. A Viper in this box may not be launched or used until it's been repaired, usually by an engineering card. Okay, so keep going. Wait, that was 3, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
So
so
the
actually
others
the
can
next one,
advance?
yeah, the next one, what it'll do is it will move towards the nearest civilian ship, and if tied, move clockwise. Oh. Yeah, move towards the nearest civilian ship, so I guess actually it'll go away from you guys.
Ooh.
No, if it was tied, so if there was ships over here and here, it would go clockwise.
Yeah, but these are the civilian ships you're talking about. And it is tied, it's even,
yeah,
so they're
okay.
going to go
Wow, that's interesting.
These are
away
civilian
from
ships?
the defenders, yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Which means that you guys probably better scram back around
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
So these 3 went, and then these 3 go here. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you guys want
Whew,
me to
guys,
buy
that
all
was a
the
little
other-
crazy.
So now we got 2 base stars in the
This is gonna be
zone.
interesting.
Oh, she's gonna die?
Okay, so that was my. Oh, and then we're gonna move one drum check. Yay!
Yay.
All right.
Will we
so
survive?
We'll see. You want to go next?
Sure. What do I do?
Are jump steps ever taken back?
Try not to be such a fracking toaster.
Fracking?
Frack
I
is
think
a
there
term.
is actually a-
Toaster is another
It's not
pejorative
super
term
common.
for Cylons. I'm getting in the game.
No, look at this.
Toaster?
I love how like you
that's
can
from
like
the
actually
show?
position things. And it looks
They call Cylons toasters, and they call human models that are secret Cylons skin jobs.
Skin job.
Skin job.
Skin job.
All right, let's do
And they
this.
say the word frack
Okay.
instead
So
of the
first
F
you're
word.
gonna. Oh yeah. So first you're gonna receive your skill cards. So.
Quit being such a fracking toaster.
Tell me how many, or can you help with the?
Okay, so what skill cards do you have? The numbers next to them and the color.
I have 1 purple,
Okay.
2 red,
Okay.
and 1
But he only
green,
gets a
1
total
yellow.
of 3, so he has to
1
choose.
green, 1
No,
yellow.
no, no. He already did that.
Oh, these are more skill cards that you get.
Well,
for your
1
turn.
green and 1 yellow.
We all had to start with something.
No, there's 1 green or 1 yellow, right?
No, no. Wait, let me see.
No, it's a 2.
Yeah, you can either do 2 yellow, 2 green, or 1 yellow.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Wow, that's a pretty good hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
What's it
and
do?
then you can move and then take an action.
Kill him!
Okay, I'm gonna move.
No, just shoot them.
Why shoot him? Shouldn't I like back up?
Yeah, I think you should go defend the forest.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
better
you
do
should
that.
go on that
Well,
side.
you gotta move really fast.
Yeah. Do I
would
have an
suggest
action?
that somebody like that thing that you had about like allowing somebody to do 2 actions. That might be good for him to move quickly.
Yeah, but I can't do it until my
Yeah,
turn, right?
yeah. So whoever, if anybody else has a card like that will help him move faster.
Whoa. Oh,
So
man.
you can use action cards at any time?
Yes, only when you. If it says action, you can only use it for your action. So I'm saying if we wait till Ken, we're probably gonna lose our ships by then. So if one of you happen to have a card like
So
that, or if you can play a card that would help.
Did they go every turn?
Only when this icon appears. It's not every card, but it's fairly frequent.
Well, I mean, like, after his turn, will they move again?
Only when it's on this card.
So I have
Okay,
max.
so they will this time because it's on that card. They
No,
will
we're
move
already
after
done with this
his-
card. So it's the next.
I have a thing called maximum firepower.
Okay.
Play while piloting a Viper to attack up to 4 times.
That's good, but
So-
we need to get you over there.
I know, I don't have
Well,
any
if
cards.
he can he advance into here and attack them on the same
He
round?
could, but I think this is more dire because they're going to move towards the.
That's true. He would really like to.
So I think for your. Actually, does your movement? Can you move as a movement? I think you could actually move as a movement too, maybe. Then you could at least get to here actually, which would not be bad. Let me double check.
Oh, wait, do you think he can actually go 2 steps in 1 turn?
Well, I'm
without a
thinking like
power card?
moving could be a movement, and then activating could be another movement. But I'm just gonna double check.
What are your special abilities?
My special abilities?
Okay, so you can.
When a Viper is placed in space area from the quote-unquote reserves, you may choose to pilot it and take 1 action.
Okay.
Then there's another one. Once per game, you may activate up to 6 unmanned Vipers.
Okay, so I was.
You should do that.
I was right. So basically, you can move once as your move action, and then your action could be activate your Viper, which can be either attack or move. So you could just move twice for your turn.
Okay.
Unless there's anything else you can do, that would be better.
Am I able to...
You could actually move this way if you
Yeah.
want, but the thing is that
Could he move past these?
I don't know.
Without engaging?
I think so, but the thing is that if you move here and then the crisis card, they'll probably attack you before you can attack them. So I think it actually might be better just to be here and then they'll attack you before they attack the ship.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We can do that.
So let's do. So you moved and then you're here now. So
And that's my
first line of
action.
defense.
You sure that's legit?
Can you use your special
To move 2
ability?
spaces.
Yeah, because this was his move and then that was his action.
Jeremiah?
There's
can
a
you
lot
use
of
your
games
special
where you can
ability
forfeit
and
your
put
action
like
for
6
another
Vipers over here on this
It's
side?
it's
No,
usually referred
I
to as
think-
walking and running.
I don't know.
So sometimes you can double
Say again?
move and it's
So
considered running.
once per game, you
Even
may
though he doesn't have
activate
legs,
up
it's
to
still the
6
same
unmanned
concept.
I get you.
Vipers.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean, like from the Vipers over here, I can launch them out? Or does that
Activating.
take control, essentially?
Activating an unmanned Viper, I think it needs to already, like this is an unmanned Viper. So I would assume it has to already be like out there somewhere, because it hasn't been launched yet.
Does it say launch or activate?
No, it just says activate.
Thanks for teaching us the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is a lot of hard
I'm glad
work,
it
but it's
was.
a lot of fun.
Thank you for being patient while I explained all this.
Super good.
It's hard being a game master.
Oh, the first time I taught this game to somebody, I was a Cylon, and then by the time I revealed myself, I was the president and the admiral. I was like, I'm sorry, guys.
What?
So it
I
just
was
made
the
it seem
president
like you
and
were
the admiral.
tilting the game in
And it
your
was like
favor.
so hard to teach the game, but they're like, what do you think we should do? And I'm like, well. Anyways,
Wait, I didn't realize you could hold both those
You can,
tables.
yeah.
Oh.
They just trusted me. I'm just such a trustworthy person.
And then it seemed like you totally tilted the game.
Yeah.
Like you betrayed us.
Oh, whoops! I accidentally won, guys.
Oh, Kim, I have the new Kalis.
Is it different?
I need to double check that. But let's
Or does it just
Beautiful.
look better?
Okay.
It's
so that was okay, and then
beautiful.
we're gonna resolve the
Have you
crisis.
played your board yet?
Yeah,
With
Okay.
me?
it's gorgeous.
Do you want to go ahead and read this out to
It's
us?
gorgeous.
Oh my goodness. I would have loved to join you guys,
Okay,
but I was just
informing the
burned
public.
out last night.
No,
just
I
never
didn't.
made out.
We didn't.
come we didn't
didn't really
jump?
play anything last night. I was pretty
didn't
burned
it have
out
a start?
myself.
Oh,
Yes,
so when
the
did you
last
play
one did two
Kalis
moves
then?
like this. Okay, so
Okay.
guys.
So it's the cover of hers
Last week sometime,
the
I
cover.
guess.
Huh.
of the box.
That's beautiful. Next time you're putting out that invitation, make it clear if you're playing Kalis, because I might tilt some
Oh,
players.
And then it's a little
okay.
bit, and then the background, the hand-painted objects are a little bit more clear. So some of the buildings that were
So
hand-painted.
everything's just a little brighter.
But there's
It is, and it's
only.
nice, yeah.
But there's only one. Let's see, where your board gives the option with the 6-player, or the 5-player to have 2 people at the that get the 3
Well,
3
I
coins.
taped that on. I modded that.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I was wondering.
It's like
You modded
nah,
that?
Yes, those are pieces of Post-it note if you haven't looked
you're-
closely.
No. It's the one with the 2 over
No,
they
she's
over
babysitting
over the
another
3
person's house.
coins.
And once I moved down there,
She's
Yeah.
making money.
Right, straight out of the gate.
I modded that. Those are pasted on pieces of
Okay,
sticky
that
note.
it doesn't look like it's a paste. Everything else looks like it's pasted on. That one does not look. But we do want the little man thingy. We decided we need that.
Okay, you'll
Yeah.
have to find your own token. I don't
Yeah.
know where to find another one of those. But,
Well, I considered
Uh,
stealing one out of my
Carcassonne has
Do what?
meeples. They're called meeples.
meeples.
yeah, but I was
Okay.
at the right game con at the right time to buy this special edition set of 5 colored clear meeples, one of which I adopted for this game, and I don't know where the others are.
Oh,
Yeah, but
gotcha.
you can get a meeple out of Carcassonne.
Uh
Okay.
Yeah.
oh.
And what is Carcassonne?
Carcassonne's a board game that's up there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So current
Thank
player,
you.
current player chooses.
Oh, wait.
Crisis.
So this is a skills check, and the colors are,
Green and yellow.
and it's a 7. Okay,
You
so
could
we're
probably
gonna-
go on Amazon and
And
get a
there's
bag
usually
of
a plus-
meeples for like
Yeah.
50
a
cents.
pass and
That's
a fail
probably
on it.
what I'll do.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, I
the
actually
pass-
thought about pulling
Current
one out of
player
a
looks
Candyland
at
game.
one random
Be like,
loyalty card
"Hey."
belonging to any
Oh,
player,
interesting.
Wait,
and
it
then
says
fail. Oh,
If we
okay.
pass it, he gets to look at somebody's loyalty card.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
belonging to any player.
okay.
And then if we fail, is -2 morale.
Yeah, we don't want to go down.
It's
Or
1 and 1, right?
Or roll a die on a 4 or lower, -1 morale and -1 population.
Wait. Let me see this. Oh. Okay, so this is saying you get to choose whether or not we even do the skills check and the pass and the fail are what he described. Or we just skip the skills check and then we risk it and we roll the die on 4 or lower, we get -1 morale, -1 population. I think we could probably pass the skill check.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's just 1
All
and
right,
1, right?
and let's see those symbols on the bottom. It looks like it's another jump step.
Yeah.
And what is that other symbol?
It's gonna deactivate these guys again. That we
Oh.
can't avoid. We have to do that. So.
Do most cards activate these guys?
Well, thanks.
So okay. So what? So would you? I mean, you get to ultimately decide. Do you want to try to do the skills check?
Yeah, let's do the skills check.
Okay. So we're gonna start from Alex and go around, but we can talk about it a little bit. So I can help for
So
sure.
does he not do the skill?
No,
He doesn't
he'll
put cards?
be the last to put cards in. So the first thing we'll do is we'll put 2 in the Destiny deck. And
So what
then-
are the cards we need? What colors?
Yellow and green.
Yeah. So
One
if you-
yellow, 1 green?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Any yellow or green cards will count towards the 7. Any colors not that color will count against the score.
So we need.
So if you're a Cylon, you might want to put in something against a score, or you could put like a plus and a
And
minus.
how do we cover it so that it isn't obvious who put in what?
You're just gonna put them all face down and then
We'll mix them
shuffle,
up, yeah.
shuffle, and then.
Oh, thanks.
So 1, 2. I
I
mean,
hope
we
you had a
want
good
to
time.
pass it, but we don't want to like.
Okay, so you just threw in 2 random.
Yes. So that's why you don't know if it's coming from the best deck or like someone's actually super.
I see.
So how many do you throw in?
You can throw in as many or as little as you want, but we want to pass it, but we don't want to overdo it to the point that we have no cards left in the next skill check.
Let's see,
right?
and the number it takes to pass?
We only need a 7, and
need
ties
7.
win as well. So each person can say like, I can help a little, I can't help at all, I can help a lot, but don't be like really like I'm handing in 3, you know. So
I can help a lot.
I can help a lot too. Alex,
The what?
can you help a little, a lot, or nothing?
Nothing.
Holy crap, that's
A little.
A little.
Okay, so if we all help a little, we'll probably be fine. A little
Okay.
to medium. So you're not going to put any cards in. You can go ahead and put in as many cards or as few cards as you want.
Yeah, did it fireball magic? Zach, I did it.
How many do we need? 7?
Yeah.
We're probably not gonna pass.
You don't think so?
Well, she said she can
I
help
can
a
help
lot.
a lot.
I can help a
you
lot
can?
too.
Oh, okay. Nice.
No, you already did yours, right?
No, not
No,
yet. Let me just.
No, I'm the last
Oh,
person.
he just last.
Okay, I'll help. I mean, we're probably gonna.
So can I ask a question now that the rules are basically
What's your question? What? Your
my
idea?
question?
Yes.
If can you help? Is there any advantage or disadvantage to helping out the other side, or you specifically have to play your role? Like, can you be a Cylon that's a human sympathizer, or can you be a human that's a Cylon?
You could do whatever you want. I mean, so the only thing that you might consider is if you're a human now, you may not want to play so well because halfway through you might have to change sides. And then if the humans are doing crazy well, then it's going to be impossible to win later.
Right.
I've never necessarily seen a human like play negatively, but like you may just not want to put in all your cards.
And did
Because if like you were being Baltar, and you were like, not that I am, but if like in the show, there were times that he was helping out the Cylons.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, really.
You could even be a renegade Cylon.
You could be a
help the
separate.
humans.
Like if you want to make it interesting. Okay, so I just shuffled, but you can flip over the cards and like all the yellow and green put in one pile. And all
I
the
just
red
was
put in
wondering
one
if it
pile.
would like totally screw up
So-
the game and it would be
So
bad.
do I place?
Yeah,
Did the numbers in the tops of the cards
Yes.
actually?
Yes.
So
I can't
if
see it
it's
from
like
here. Is that green?
4 is
4.
4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I didn't even look at my card numbers, so for real.
Okay, so there's one purple. Oh, we're definitely. Oh, interesting.
Whoa.
That means there's actually a Cylon amongst us.
Yeah.
I think it's Kin.
But it's not Alex because he didn't put any cards in.
I think it's Kin.
Oh, it's gonna be you
Probably
because you
Mike.
said it.
So go
Yeah.
ahead and count the numbers here.
Wow, Angie.
Yeah.
you're not
Did
a
we
part
make
of
or
this
did
game.
we lose?
So do these add to this number?
Those take away. So count those minus those.
That makes
Okay.
me completely unbiased.
Okay. Well, the only person that put in one card is me and Kin.
Well, I mean, it could have been one of my cards.
Oh
You
my
might have been too,
goodness,
right?
we only
You
got
cheater.
4.
Oh, you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Okay, that was really bad luck because obviously the 2 Destiny cards were both negative plus somebody put in a negative.
unless we have 2 Cylons on board.
Oh, that would be really bad. You guys, I don't trust any of you. This is a really bad start.
I helped a lot. What are
Maybe
you
she's
talking
a
about?
Cylon, 2 cards worth.
I'll tell you what. We can do a toaster test. What I do is I take out my sidearm and I put a bullet in each one of your heads. Now, some of you are going to stand back up, in which case I throw you out the airlock. Some of you aren't going to stand
You
back
guys,
up,
that
in
was
which
really
case,
bad. All right, we're gonna have to start. playing
congratulations, you're
differently, 'cause-
human.
All right,
This
what
is
was
about
the
like
what
the
was the
witch
fail?
test from 500 years ago.
Oh, of
lose
course,
2
but it's
morale.
way
You
more
guys,
effective.
this is really not good.
We lost 2 morale.
I'm
It's
telling
only been
you.
2
Thanks,
turns, you
people.
guys.
Throw Kin
Thanks,
in the
people.
brig.
Okay, so
Throw
these are
Kin
gonna get
in the
activated.
brig.
So you're gonna move.
Oh, throw you both
Face is
in the
looking
brig.
red.
I don't care. Throw
My
us
face
both in
matches
the
your
brig.
All
shirt.
right, this one's gonna attack this dude.
Okay, so where do I put these?
These are all discards, so you can just give them to whoever's gonna.
Oh, and here's the fun thing about the Cylons is that they were so powerfully upgraded that they weren't like metal underneath. They were like human cloaks. They still bled. They had bones, all of this other stuff like that. So.
Okay, so this.
Wait.
Can you roll?
Oh, it's only on pass.
You're talking about the show,
Can
right?
you roll on this? I know that would have been a really good one to pass, guys.
I know.
I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. We either
No,
have.
I was like, oh,
That was really
well,
bad.
everyone else is
We're
gonna
gonna have to
help.
start playing a lot more.
Obviously.
aggressively. Who's rolling for this? Mike.
Well, how many bed cards can there be
5?
on the desk?
That's good, right?
That's okay.
Yes.
And use a Cylon.
I think it's what
Yeah,
7 or
that's me.
higher.
I'm
Oh shoot,
Cylon.
5 to 7.
Definitely me.
Oh no!
Yeah, psychic influence.
But there's an 8. Why is
What?
the 8 empty?
Oh, they killed the Viper.
Wait, sorry. Actually, did that just move like this?
Oh yes.
Oh, so it shouldn't have attacked then, right?
No?
Okay, it just moved, and these all moved. Okay, so we're actually okay. We saved that roll for later.
I'm okay.
Should they
I'm not okay.
go this way?
I'm about to get bombed.
Or should they go the other way? Probably the other way, huh?
Yeah, you're right. Wow. This is
And
we need
there's
a little
that
bit more
once
defense,
again
you guys.
that clockwise
Actually,
thing.
you can do the 5.
Do they always go clockwise if in doubt?
If equidistant from the civilian ships.
Do the
Wow, I think we
Can
did
the
this right.
civilian ships be moved to get out of the way?
Actually, that is one of the actions, isn't it? Wasn't there one about looking at the back of the civilian ship?
Yeah. I
If
thought
you
it-
need
This
help,
one. Oh, we should do this one, and then we can move the
like
ships
you're having issues,
over
probably
back
because
and
your vent is clogged.
Okay, so then I just move that up, and
Get
that's
your
the next
toe.
one. Alex.
And I'll put some holes in your help.
Okay, so this is interesting.
Gotcha.
Wait, so the second jump step took place even though the card was lost?
Yeah. The 2 bottom things happen no matter what.
You just wanted,
Okay,
me,
so
you
do
just
I get
wanted me to play
cards?
this game so you could be skeptical about it.
Do I get cards?
What? I was very open about that in my message.
So how does my turn go? What do I do on my turn?
So draw your cards.
Okay, how many do I get? All of them?
2 purple. Yeah, all of them. But the one where it's 2 colors you pick.
When I
which
say
one.
all of them, I would
You
be...
get 2, 2, and 1.
No, the one that's
is
2 different colors you pick. Yeah. What?
Okay. So I get 2 purple, 2 red, and I'm going to go with a green.
Okay, guys, we have serious problems.
Wait,
gonna
what
get
colors
bopped.
was that?
Kind of agree.
Yeah, what colors was that thing? It was 1 green, 1 yellow, right?
Wait, what happened to the ones that were discarded?
I stuffed them under. Was that right? Or
I think it'd be better if we
we're supposed to
wait till
leave
the
them
whole
out
deck.
and then reshuffle?
Yeah, because it'll
Oops,
just be more
okay.
shuffled that way. Just leave it for now. It's fine.
Okay.
So
Sorry, my bad.
Oh no, you're fine.
it was green and yellow.
We should have passed that very easily, actually.
No, so there were 2 blues and a what? Canceled.
It was 1 blue, 2 purple, and the blue was a 3,
See-
and the purple was
1 blue and 2 purple?
And boarding party comes from one of those enemy ships getting on board.
Mike, it's not about the colors; it's about the numbers on.
No, but
Yeah,
the
I'm talking
colors-
about the colors you can tell because people got specific colors.
Yeah.
So the fact that he had a green and a yellow that he could grab, and then she has a green, you have a green and a yellow, and then I have a green and a yellow, and we didn't pass it, is like,
I put in 2 positive cards for the record. I don't know what you guys did.
I
thought
put
that'd
in
be
a
enough.
big positive card. What are you talking about?
Unless, wait, is anybody colorblind? Should we do a test?
Well, I do have terrible eyesight, so maybe.
you put all 3 of them.
What?
It was like,
I know. That would be really bad. We did have someone who was just really mean and played like a traitor. Like, that's actually the guy the whole time.
I drew cards.
wasn't a good guy.
Okay, and then
Play
now
like-
you can move somewhere, and then
Why would I move?
if you would like to activate a certain location.
Why would I want to activate it?
Just some, like, you put ships out.
I'm the kind of person, I learn a game's rules on my turn, so a lot of times when you're
Just weren't
explaining
paying
the rules
attention.
before it. No, it's not that. It's not I'm not paying attention. It's that my brain doesn't have any context. So it's kind without context, it's like, okay, so here's what you do. You take tomato and put it in hat. Hat is on top of dog, and dog is inside of this colander. Okay, once you get the colander, you move it outside 3 spaces under the spaghetti. Once the spaghetti's inverted inside of, I'm gone. I'm completely like, I have no idea.
Well, you might
But
like
once we
weapons
start-
control because you can attack a Cylon.
And why would I attack a Cylon?
Because you want them dead.
Okay, that helps. I just need context for what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't.
I
have
just
any
thought I
idea
gave
what's
the
going
most
on.
facetious answer ever, so I'm glad it
So who are
No,
you?
it's good.
You're this person.
Yeah.
You probably want to deploy come out.
Because you're a pilot.
Why would I do that?
Because this is our greatest threat right now. Like these guys are gonna come and attack.
Well, how
all
does
these
that
ships.
compare with weapons control, where he just
Well, you can
fires
attack
from
a
the main
ship, but I mean, like, it's like one little ship.
And if
dude.
they
Do I
get to
do-
here and kill these, we start losing
Do I
stuff.
get to do anything?
And what do I do with these
defensive
cards?
while
You
they're
can either
these
do
guys are
something-
You
attacking?
can look
me?
at them, so as an action,
That's
you
why the first time.
If I need to take, you're awesome. I have to take my turn. I just need to be able to ask a bunch of questions because if you jump in to ask questions, I'll get totally confused. And it's not you. It's just I will get so lost. So
I'm about to die.
Oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I just was getting lost.
Right. So I think our biggest threat right now is the fact that these guys are coming towards here, and if these get destroyed, these are going to go down. So since you're a pilot, you should probably leverage your strengths to go and help defend those ships.
Okay, and what do I use these for?
So
you can
skills
play
checks,
one
which
with
we
the
just
thing
did.
that's red on, or you can use their numbers for skill checks.
Yeah. So if you have an action that you think will help you, but right now, don't you? What's your like special strength? You can just like jump out and start doing an action right away or something like that.
Okay.
When it attacks,
So what is it?
It says when you start your turn piloting a Viper, you may take 2 actions during your action step instead of 1. Once per game, immediately after a crisis card is revealed, discard it and draw a new one.
Okay, so you can't take advantage of that skill yet because you're not starting your turn piloting a Viper, but for your action, I would recommend that you go ahead and launch yourself from a Viper and then take one more action, which you could launch and then take another action.
So then one of these would appear with him?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could perform this action, and then it allows you to do one more action, which you could use to move here and help defend the ships. Does that sound
Do you have to be a pilot to have the ability to drive a Viper?
Yes, but you can help man the unmanned Vipers by coming up to this command spot, which is what I did on my turn.
I see.
Which apparently we went the wrong way. So, and then so that's one thing you could do. But if you see an action card that you prefer to take that you think will be better, you're welcome to do that.
I just don't know what the action cards do.
Okay.
So how do I win the game?
If you're human, you win it by us all winning. If you're a Cylon, you win it by making the ship lose.
If you're a human, we just want to survive, and we don't want these to go down to 0. That's all you really need to know. So
And how long will it take us to get to Cobalt?
8 units, and each time we do the jump track, we'll move between 1 to 3 units.
Okay.
So
okay,
this
that
game
makes
takes a long time. That's what it's like.
Okay. So I will do what you suggest
Okay.
and head out and move this way.
Okay. So jumping out with a dude, and then you're going to take an extra action, which is skill used to come and help defend these ships.
Where did he get the extra action?
Because that's what this says. It says you can launch yourself and then take 1 more action.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and the launch in the show, the launch is really fast. It just jettisons you out.
You're the only one who's really experienced with the show, it sounds like.
I haven't seen the show in a long time. Okay, so that's basically your turn, and then the last thing you do is you draw a crisis card.
oh look at that.
So, crisis card! Skills check. This is an 11. We need yellow, green, and purple. The pass is no effect. Ooh, if we get a 6 or higher, okay. So there's like a middle ground. If we get a 6 and not an 11, we only lose 1 population. And if we fail, it's -1 population. And the president chooses another person to receive the president title. So Ken would lose his president title as well.
Okay, now I can understand some of these. Okay.
Okay, so
So we need 11.
okay, so let's think about this. Okay, population we're actually okay on.
And how many cards do we get to win? As many as we want to?
Yes. Yeah. So this is not terrible if we fail, but let's try to pass.
I can help a lot.
Okay.
I think Ken should be in the brig already. So
Actually, I can help a lot.
I think we should actually fail
I
this
also
right
have
now.
a feeling that Ken's also.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ken the silence? Is Ken the silence?
I mean, if we
I
really,
think so.
That makes sense.
if we really,
Why
like,
does it make sense?
Because we
you didn't
failed
help
the
us the last one.
it's probably not
There's
Alex.
no way we
because
could
he
have
didn't
failed.
even participate.
And why isn't it Maxine, who's got purple also?
I think it's easier for people to believe that you were 3D printed rather than any of it.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, and you started a church and an outhouse.
That's amazing.
Well, we know he's really not from North Carolina. He does not know enough about North Carolina
I mean,
to
I can
truly
help
be from
a little.
That's right, I'm actually from Antares, and I
You
did
said
my
you can
best.
help a lot, but we don't know if that's good or bad.
There's just
I
no
can't help
way
it all,
he
but I
can.
kind of want to take it.
You kind of want to take it?
Yes.
Just, like, not even try.
Hey, look
Yeah,
who's
just so he
here.
loses, bro. Because he has to
And
get
you
it
got
all.
some bells. You want
We're just getting started, actually.
Because if we can't pass it to get him into the break, we can at least fail this.
I don't mind
We
that,
can
actually,
take
because
it.
Yeah.
losing 1 population
Good.
is not a big deal at this
I'm
point.
glad you're here.
And we don't know if we're going to pass based on the last. Okay, guys, so we have a proposal.
Okay.
Mike was suggesting that we just go ahead and intentionally fail this because.
Hi. How are you?
Hey.
Coming, people incoming. Good to see you.
Hi.
Rachel, right?
Yeah. So the proposal is we intentionally failed this.
If you guys need anything, just let me know.
And we can go over this. So let's go here. Well, no.
If you guys need anything at all, just let me know.
We're gonna yell.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
The proposal is that we intentionally fail this so that we don't use our cards, and the downside is we just lose one population, which is not a huge deal. And the other downside is Ken will lose his president title, and we're kind of suspicious of Ken. So.
And it'd be harder to throw him in the brig than it would to just fail this.
Wait, who would get the president title? What's that say?
I would.
The president chooses another candidate.
It would be someone else.
So we're gonna try and fail it.
I think that way we don't waste any of our cards. Because the thing is, we failed the last one, and it was like.
And we should have passed it.
Yeah, so we're thinking like the likelihood we're gonna pass this is
Well,
less,
two-
and we'll waste a bunch of cards.
Two of the cards at the bottom, were both purple and blue.
What do you mean?
Get
There was
out of
one
character.
Wait,
Well,
What do
it
you
doesn't
mean at
matter
the
what
bottom?
order it was shuffled.
It was shuffled.
was it shuffled?
I'm gonna hit that.
But
No, you
What
were
in
in
the
love
world
with-
is happening? You guys?
You were in love with Boomer over here, the Asian guy.
Oh.
That's who you.
We'll get her in the game.
Okay. All right.
Wait, so let's hear this. What did you say about purple and blue again?
I thought the two cards at the bottom were purple and blue, but she shuffled them before.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, the order.
If they were not shuffled, the game wouldn't work at all.
Well, I'm a fan of this approach. I guess anybody can do whatever they want. But so starting from you, decide what you'd like to do.
I am going to throw something in to fail it.
Or you can just not put in anything. But you could also potentially do it.
I am intentionally going to fail this.
I don't remember what 5 was.
Do I put it in?
Yeah. Oh, and then we'll put 2 from the Destiny deck. And then Ken, what would you like to do?
Well, if we're trying to fail, I won't put anything.
I will also not put anything in.
I won't put anything.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
I love your guys' proposal, but Starbucks doesn't fail. So you're like, hey, let's fail this one. I'm like,
Okay, so
don't do
you
that.
shuffle and then reveal.
Okay, so I'm just like, I'm passing.
Can I use my blind devotion?
Oh, pause. Yeah, go ahead.
Blind devotion.
Once per game, after cards have been added to the skill check, but before revealing them, you may choose a skill type. All cards of the chosen type are considered strength 0.
Okay. Which
Serious.
color are you going to
Once per game, and you're going to use it on like the second round.
I will use purple.
Wait, purple's already. Oh, purple's
Yeah,
color.
and
We're
then it
doing
would make
reverse.
everything that's purple in the
You're
card
right.
deck 0.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
So we got, this is 4.
That's we're at -4.
So
Oh,
0,
that's 0.
0, 0, red.
So we're at -6. We would have been at 2. Okay, so we definitely failed that, and it's interesting to recognize that. Well, I guess actually Alex is pretty upfront with what he did. So
Alex is pretty what?
he was pretty upfront with what he chose to do. So all right, we definitely failed that, and
Who else put in cards?
I did.
I didn't put it.
Just me and you. And then
And
the
then the
deck
Destiny.
puts 1.
There's 2 random cards that get put
Oh,
into the deck.
Okay, so nobody else put in cards?
Right.
Michael
So
did
you
one.
2 and 2 random cards are these cards.
So what color would you have put in to fail it?
Not one of those colors.
You put in probably red or
So if you wanted to fail it,
I would put it in
a red or a blue.
Now, if he had not canceled purple, it still would have failed, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
This wasn't enough.
Somebody threw that 4.
so we're, so I'm trying to understand. Like, so the deck put in 2.
Yes.
So 2 of these cards were from the deck. Okay. So trying to fail it,
He has an ability that turns all these to 0.
okay.
And we had to get past 11.
So the
So-
random cards can either help or hinder.
If you said, and I'm just trying to understand the rules, if I said I wanted to pass it, and I put in cards to pass it, would that have been the role of a Cylon or a human?
Well, that's complicated.
Okay.
So normally we want to pass skills checks, but we were kind of saying as humans, we actually thought it was more beneficial as a humans to just intentionally fail this check because we didn't want to waste cards on something that was not that bad of a.
So as humans, we want it to fail.
That's what we were proposing.
Yeah, that's what we see.
So if you were saying that you wanted to pass, it would have been a Cylon.
If we thought Kin was a Cylon, and he has the power of presidency right now, and we wanted to pass it so that he kept presidency, then we'd be going for Cylons.
Anyway, just to draw.
So Ken, as a Cylon, would have wanted this to pass.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I could have done a lot more than I did.
And Ken put in how many cards? 2.
Nothing.
Oh, you didn't put
Okay.
anything in. Yeah.
3 didn't put anything.
Statistically, so something happened in the game because I knew what I was putting in was purple.
Okay.
And I know that everyone can see the majority of my cards were purple.
Right.
Which means if Mike specifically chose purple, Mike is a Cylon.
Mike doesn't have purple. It's not in his skill
I
set.
do. He chose purple knowing that purple was going to get wiped out.
Because he wanted to fail the
So
this
that
check, and
us
which in
thinking
this,
he's a Cylon.
yeah, in this case, as humans, we wanted to fail the check.
Right, but if he was a Cylon, he would have said, I want to fail this, and he would have tried passing it. Is that what would have worked?
Yeah.
Because there's another purple card here.
It could have been something from the destiny.
It could have been.
But I don't get any purple.
Right.
Yeah, so he
But I do.
He probably played this one and said, "Oh, let's ban purple."
Because I don't get red or purple.
Oh, so you played. So he probably played the blue, and then the destiny deck probably played a red and a purple, and you played the
And then Michael just randomly chose a color.
Well,
if he chose
picked,
green.
He picked purple to neutralize because he knew that Alex was trying to pass
Oh,
the check.
yeah.
And he knew that
And I
Alex.
knew that Alex would probably keep his piloting because he's a pilot.
Yeah.
That was my theory.
Honestly, if you were a Cylon, it's hard to tell what you would do because failing it and passing it.
What if we're all humans?
Okay, so what do we do with these?
So those discard. Just give
Those
to
are
them.
Alright, and I have to pass on the presidency.
Yes, and you can pick whoever you want.
I'll go to Chairman.
Okay.
What do I do with this?
Oh, and then he gets your form.
Oh, just get my corn card too?
Because here's my
Oops, no, I gave you the wrong thing. I gave you the wrong thing.
No, that's correct. I think you give him
the reason
Wait,
why
I gave him my loyalty card.
No, this is what you
Oh, okay.
Then the reason I say that is because I made it clear beforehand I was wanting to pass the test. And so Mike would have made a decision, and that would have gutted me of my resources. Because if I was trying to pass and he picked purple, I think Mike's the Cylon. I really do. I don't think Ken is the Cylon. I think Mike is the Cylon.
Ken is kind of a Cylon.
I now think Alex is a Cylon.
That was okay. This is how the game goes. All right, let's keep going.
Ken and Alex.
Wait,
so that
what do I do with this card?
You can play that as your action
I've got a box full of games out there if y'all want games.
whenever
to
you
pick
feel
from.
like it's appropriate.
Because I don't see any. Here's the problem. Mike does not have purple cards.
Oh, you mean?
I understand
There,
why.
hold on. There was a fourth purple card.
Yes.
So if I put in
Yeah,
3
the
purple
kid
cards,
who has the tablet is uncertain and will
and if he
probably
picked,
until the last
but
game. We'll just have
what
to go out.
if
And we
Mike
can go playing with just making a game day.
played a purple
He
card?
couldn't. He doesn't have the
I
ability to
haven't
have a
collected
purple
any.
card. There's no way he could have had a purple card.
So you can know for a fact
So it was the random. Because we three
He would have had a blue or a red. But the blue and the red could have made the color.
he couldn't have had red either.
Guys, let's
Oh
not
my
avoid it
Can we
again.
move on?
Some people haven't even gone yet.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay,
Just because
so
you're anti-Flash doesn't mean you need to be
means that
anti-Mike.
a reader gets deployed from, I think, each big star.
nice. Wait, no, that's
No.
not
What just
Are
happened?
you silent?
No.
And then-
What just
No.
I thought they were good ships.
She was
I thought
right the
those
whole
were good
time.
ships.
Oh, sorry, not a raider. What is this called? Yeah, raider.
I thought these were the bad ones.
You say it gets deployed from each
Maxine.
star, not just one
I
star.
thought these were the bad ones.
Oh, they
Oh,
are.
sorry. You're right.
Are you a
What
Cylon?
good
No,
guys?
I don't know.
She's putting
Guys,
United
something's
States ships in
happening.
the
I'm
service
trying to
of the
organize
aliens.
These good guys are bad.
Okay. Let me double check that that's the right thing to do. You can start collecting your cards though.
What is this?
Maybe this is for married couples.
What has happened?
No, if you didn't have any purple cards, then that makes sense. Then Ken would be the Cylon.
Yep. It's a cooperative game.
It's amazing. I love it already.
I know, it's so
Some
immersive.
enemies aboard the ship.
It's so mean.
Only the enemies know who they are.
It's so weird.
No one's even accused you. You just became president. And you think
It's a mean game.
it is. It depends how wildly you want to accuse people.
I won't accuse anyone.
Yeah, if mine didn't
Until
have
they
any purple cards, then Ken's the Cylon.
No worries. I'm gonna use a power card to boost your pilot powers.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. Destroy those gosh dang fighters.
Yes, you'll need it.
And there are certain cards that you can play out of sequence. Like I have a card that says, play after strength is totaled in a skill check to reduce the difficulty by 2.
It does.
Okay. What cup?
Oh, so after it's total.
Yeah,
Wow,
so
that's
reading,
juicy.
yeah. So the ones that say action you can only perform when you're turn, but the ones that don't say action.
What kind is that? Is it a leadership skill?
It's a green, yeah.
Is it declare emergency?
Yes.
Okay, so only one can be played. So I couldn't use mine and
So in other words, you couldn't have saved that situation even if both of you had been on it.
We also might want to launch a scout as our action before we jump.
What's that do?
So what it can do is it'll allow us to look at the top card of the destination deck, and then if we don't like it, like it's a really low distance, we'll put it at the bottom of the deck.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
But you may or may not be able to do it. You have to roll to see.
Alright, so where are we at? Oh, Mike is planning his turn.
Who are you?
He's a Cylon.
Okay, so I will, while I'm here, I will go ahead and repair
Okay.
the broken ship.
I will say it's not like a super urgent thing because we do have quite a few in it.
For sure.
Is that what you want?
I have that, but I get a free action after I use it while I'm in the hangar deck.
No,
It's
that's
on
only
this
if
card.
you launch.
Oh, you're performing it. Oh, okay. Okay, go
Wait,
for it.
no. If I read this correctly, it's only if you launch.
He's
then
not
you
performing
For sure.
it.
I'm just in there.
Then
So
he
right
wouldn't
now,
get a spare action, would he?
I would on here, yes.
Oh, okay.
Repair your current location, or if you are in a hangar deck location, you may repair up to 2.
So it doesn't give you a separate action, but it would save that one.
No, sorry, that's what it was. It's my special action. During your turn, after you use a repair skill card, you may take another action.
Oh,
Once
okay.
per turn.
Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
Now this is repaired.
And then I can move here and do something else, yes. Or it's moving here.
I think you have to move and then do an action, so I don't.
Oh, really? Well, then I'll not do that.
Okay, so get that.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you're gonna move
And then
there.
I'll move here and then I'll shoot.
Okay.
They're out with
What?
So we are attacking.
Yep.
Alright, I see you guys are up for a really weird game.
These only need a 3 or higher to use, so that's good. So attacking. Go for it. 3 or higher. Big money. Big money. Wow.
No!
What was that?
Does anybody have a card that can help? It's like, it would be a red card, probably. Anything helpful?
Red.
Increase the roll of a die or something.
Wait.
Alright, well.
And that is my only action, yeah. I
really
can't play an action card after that. Okay.
Alright,
I can't
try
play
it.
anything.
And then crisis card. Oh, this is over. Next crisis. Oh, shoot.
What is this?
We need to get out of here, you guys. This is really bad.
How do we get out of
Activate
here?
these. Does that mean they'll move forward?
I mean, technically, we don't even get to move on this one. Wow. Okay, well, let's see how this goes. So, the first thing that's going to happen...
Are we dead already?
The first thing that happens is we activate all of these guys.
Does that mean they move to